What's up, Aces fans? My name is Michael Mark Cantonini. He's Josh Sperber. We are getting you set with everything you need to know before Game 2 of a 4-game series between the Melbourne Aces and the Canberra Cavalry. Welcome inside to the Brick Lane pregame show. Well, Josh, things did not go the Aces' way last night. Game was scoreless into the 12th inning. Pitchers duel throughout a really quick game through 11 innings. And then things went south. The Canberra Cavalry exploded for 8 runs in the top of the 12th inning. They did it on 6 hits, and they eventually won the game 8-1. But let's go back to what happened before that 8-run 12th inning, and let's talk about the biggest bright spot of the night for the Aces, and that was the pitching, and it started with Cody Mincy.
Yeah, I mean, pitching definitely was the bright spot, and the brightest of that spot was absolutely Mincy. Shutout innings, allowing just 4 hits. I mean, he was absolutely dominant, a guy that we talked all night on the broadcast about. He's been getting better and better every single start. It's going to be hard for him to top last night. Pitching to contact, weak contact all night long, just 1 extra base hit. He was nothing short of dominant.
Really efficient, again, worked quickly, got a lot of early in the count outs, and like you said, shutout baseball over 6 innings with the 3 strikeouts, limited the hits, and it seems like every time out we say, okay, this was Cody Mincy's best start.
Yeah, again, it's really going to be hard for him to top that. And up until that 12th inning, the bullpen was just a shutout. We saw a great inning from Kevin Lennox. That 10th inning was, I think, one of the best defensive innings we've seen from the Aces. Started out on a sacrifice attempt. Lennox got the ball and got the out at third base instead of falling into the sacrifice trap, and then struck out the next 2 batters. He was absolutely great. And Lennox was solid in his first inning of work. Just that 12th inning was not the Aces' time.
Yeah, the bullpen was really good throughout, and like you said, the 12th inning, things just didn't go their way. Evan Rutsky, how about the 2 innings that he tossed, especially the second of his 2 innings in which he had a second and third 1-out situation and got back-to-back strikeouts to get the Aces out of the jam.
Yeah, he had a couple of starts this season where he's let up the long ball, but there were no signs of that. He's usually a guy who will just give you 1 shutout inning. That's really Rutsky's game. He's a great late reliever, but showing that he can stretch himself to multiple innings, again, just proves how versatile a piece he's been for the Aces in their bullpen all year.
Not a ton going offensively for the Aces last night, but we've got to talk about one guy specifically, Darryl George, who in round 6 before the holiday break against Geelong, Korea, reached the 300 games played mark in his ABL career. He's the first player to do it all with one franchise, and coming into the season, he was already the Aces' career leader in games played, but he is now the first in franchise history to reach the 300-game mark. What a feat for Darryl.
Yeah, over 10 years. He's been doing it since before he was 20. There's really not much more that we haven't already said about Darryl George that can be said. He has been so much for this franchise, helped them to those 2 championships, the Helms Award winner last year. He has meant so much to this Aces team, and it's really great to see that he stuck with the Aces through 300-plus games, and we hope to see 300 more.
Absolutely. At 29 years old, you know he's got a shot. I mean, a lot of guys play into their 40s here in the ABL. You just never know, but Darryl's been a mainstay in the middle of the Melbourne Aces lineup for a decade now, and congratulations to him on reaching 300 games played in his ABL career, all with the Aces. And not only that, he's just one of the best guys to be around. You know, you talk to him on the field before, after BP, stuff like that. He's a great dude, and we want to give a shout out to Darryl for getting to 300 games with the Aces. So let's flip over to tonight's game, Game 2 of the series against the Cavalry. Brian Flynn on the mound. What do you expect from Brian tonight?
A lot more strikeouts. You know, that's something he's been in the top 5 or 6 guys in the league in terms of strikeouts for pretty much the entire season. The only reason I think he's not on the top of that list is because that Auckland series got washed out. You expect him to attack hitters and just strike a lot of batters out. He's had more than half of his strikeouts here at home, so we're hoping to see the strikeout king get his crown back.
Flynn remains one of the top pitchers in the ABL, even with that series that washed him out, still among the league leaders in the strikeout department. The Aces are confident with him going on the bump. And let's do something we haven't done before here on the pregame show, Josh. I'm going to put you on a spot. Give me a standout star for tonight's game.
It's always tough because there are really so many to choose from, but I'm going to go with Jacob Robson. He had a really great end to the game last night. 1 ball hit really far. That was pretty close to where we're standing in this Brick Lane pregame show right now. Almost went out of the park. He had a comeback liner, a really nice play by Frank Gailey that was made. He's due, and it kind of started off with an RBI single he hit in that 12th inning, the only run of the game for the Aces last night. I expect him to keep it going.
All right, lock it in. Josh's standout star for tonight's game, Jacob Robson, the first pick of the season. We'll see how it goes. But the vibes are high here at Melbourne Ballpark. The sun is shining, not a cloud in the sky. We got Taylor Swift bumping in the background here at the ballpark. We're ready to go. Josh, you ready to go?
Always. Let's do it.
Keep it locked on Aces TV. We'll be live in a couple minutes.
It's another great night for a ball game here in Melbourne, Victoria, as we get set for Game 2 of a 4-game set between the Melbourne Aces and the visiting Canberra Cavalry. Hi, everybody. My name is Michael Cantonini. Josh Berber is alongside me. We are getting set for tonight's matchup. The Aces lost a tough one last night. Game was scoreless through 11 innings when the Canberra bats broke out in the top of the 12th for 8 runs on 6 hits. They eventually won the game 8-1. So in what was not necessarily a must-win game for both teams, but the vibes, it felt that way last night. The Cavalry take Game 1 of the series. The Aces looking to even up this series tonight with an absolutely fantastic crowd on hand, over 1,100 in the ballpark tonight once again. Great crowd last night, another great crowd tonight with more people still filing in. Josh, let me bring you into the broadcast. The vibes are definitely high tonight as the Aces look to even up this series at a game apiece.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the right side of the field on the first base side, there's not an empty seat in the house. I mean, looks like we got a full house. The Aces, I think, have turned this into a must-win game, and that's what you want. You know, if you're playing baseball at a professional level, you want the do-or-die moments. You want those kind of season-changing moments, and there's still plenty of games left. We're still in the last 40% of the season. The Aces just need to start getting some wins.
Well, we appreciate you joining us here on the Brick Lane pregame show as the Aces get set to take the field. Before the national anthem, we will quickly get in the Vibrant Services weather report, and Josh will tell you a little bit about the weather today at the ballpark.
Yeah, we like the low chance of rain, just 1%. A little bit on the humid side, but a gorgeous day, not a cloud in the sky, and a nice, crisp, warm 23 degrees Celsius. So, really, just a beautiful day for baseball once again.
Well, the Aces are taking the field, and we are just a couple minutes away from baseball at Melbourne Ballpark. The national anthem is on the way. We will wait till after the national anthem to give you the Aces starting lineup and the keys to tonight's ball game. But, Josh, the Aces are looking to rebound, just a short memory from last night, and quickly rebound and get a W tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you need in sports. If you have a bad inning, you have a bad game, you just got to get it out of your system. Every day's a new day.
Well, we are ready for the Australian national anthem here at Melbourne Ballpark. Keep it locked right here on Aces TV, starting lineups and keys to the game after the anthem. Another beautiful rendition of the Australian national anthem as the Aces are getting set for the pregame warm-ups. Brian Flynn, tonight's starter, is going to grab a baseball and begin his warm-up tosses. While he does that, let's get you tonight's Melbourne Aces starting lineup. In the leadoff spot, the Aces have center fielder Aaron Whitefield. He's been a mainstay in center all season long and at the top of the lineup. In the two-hole, it's the designated hitter Chris Burke, working his way back from a hamstring injury. Made his first start since round 2 last night. He's there again tonight. In the 3-hole at third base, it's Robbie Glendinning. He's been one of the most productive hitters in the ABL this season. He has been a fantastic addition to the Aces lineup. Cleaning it up, it's Jake Skoll, the right fielder. Skoll has done nothing but hit since he arrived in Melbourne just a couple weeks ago. Daryl George, the man who just eclipsed the 300 game mark in his career, is in the 5-hole. He's at first base. In left field batting sixth, it's Jacob Robson, who hit a couple balls hard last night, but didn't have the luck that he wanted. In the 7-hole, it's the shortstop, Jared Dale. He had 2 hits in last night's ballgame, a single and a double. Batting eighth is the catcher, Matt O'Neill. Did not play in last night's game, but he has been extremely productive all season with the bat and behind the plate. And rounding out the lineup in the 9-hole at second base, it's George Khalil, who had a really solid series in round 6 against Geelong, Korea. And on the mound, like I mentioned, it's the left-hander Brian Flynn, the Tulsa, Oklahoma native, who played some really good big league ball earlier in his career. And we are getting set to go. Josh, let's squeeze in those keys to the game really quick.
Yeah, we're just about to get started here, so we'll get the keys to the game after this at bat.
Brian Flynn's first pitch of the game is tipped into the glove of Matt O'Neill, quickly 0-1 on the Cavalry leadoff hitter, Jake McKenzie. He'll be followed by Cole Roederer and Cam Warner. Brian Flynn making his 6th start of the season as he gets a pop-up here, but that one's into the seats, out of play. So now in between pitches, we'll squeeze in those keys to the game and get those up on the screen.
Well, first off is, like Taylor Swift, just shake it off. Last night's game, over and done with. Nothing you can do about it. Just put that one behind you. They got to get it more aggressive at the plate, because one run is not going to do it for you most nights. The A's pitching has been great, but the Aces batting needs to play at the level that we've seen them play at in spurts of this season, and that's got to start at the beginning of the lineup. The top of the lineup is where the Aces put their most productive hitters. You have guys like Aaron Whitefield, Robbie Glendinning at the top of that order. You expect them to play at the high level they're capable of playing, and also with the starter, Brian Flynn.
Flynn looking to get an early out here in the first as McKenzie works the count full. It's 3-2 on the Cavalry shortstop. McKenzie was in the leadoff spot last night. He's back there today. Chopper up the middle. Jared Dale there. Oh, that's smooth from Jared Dale. Easy money. Over to Daryl George for the first out, and Brian Flynn's got the leadoff man retired.
And that's a really deceptively difficult play, as easy as Dale makes that look. Look how far that one's poked up the middle, right over the head of Brian Flynn, who at 6'8", that's not easy to do. But Dale gets to that easily, and a quick throw to get the speedy McKenzie. Good way to start off the game for the Aces.
But Flynn needed to throw 6 pitches to get out number 1, but he's got it nonetheless. And here's Cole Roederer, the center fielder. In 25 games this season, Roederer has the average under 200 at 196, but reaching base at a 308 clip. So even with the numbers lower than he'd like, still more than a 100-point difference between batting average and on-base percentage. You obviously like to see that. Couple homers and a couple doubles, 12 driven in for Roederer. He takes a fastball in the inner half from Flynn. Flynn's been solid for the Aces this season, 0-1 with a 4.38 ERA, but he has pitched a lot better than those numbers indicate. 5 games, all of them starts, 24 2/3 innings of work for Flynn. 32 strikeouts and just 8 walks, an excellent ratio for the left-hander. Opponent's hitting .260 against him, and that's partly because in his last 3 starts in order, he's given up 7, 8, and 5 hits. But he gave up just 6 hits over his first 2 outings of the season. And he continues to strike batters out. 1-2, that's in the dirt. Good stop by O'Neill. And Josh, you mentioned it in the pregame. You expect a lot more strikeouts from Flynn tonight. 2 outings ago, he had 5. In his last outing, went just 3 innings. He had only 4. But I got to imagine that lengthy break did him some good.
Yeah, it took a washout in Auckland to knock him off the league strikeout lead. But even though he is a start or 2 behind the people in front of him in the K rankings, he's still 5th in the league with 32 strikeouts, 9 off the leader, who is former ace Gunnar Kynes, By the way, Kynes has pitched almost 20 more innings than Brian Flynn in 2 more starts.
Flynn's able to rack up the strikeout numbers and do it efficiently. And I think that's a key when you look at a leaderboard. It's not just about who's at the top, but for a pitcher, for example, how many innings they're able to do it in as Flynn walks Roederer. And then, of course, you look at offensively. You look at home run leaders and all that. You look at how many games it took for a guy to do it. But Flynn has been really solid this season for the Aces. I mentioned he doesn't walk a lot of guys. Well, he doesn't. First walk of the night there, 2 batters in. But in his 5 starts this season, in order, he's gone 1 walk, 2 walks, 3 walks, 1 walk, 1 walk. First pitch to the 3-hole hitter Warner's outside. It's 1-0.
And that's the earliest we've seen a walk from him as well. He is usually a guy who starts off just striking guys out nonstop. A bit longer than we're used to seeing the strikeouts from Flynn, but don't wait on him too long.
One's flip foul. Aces pinching for 2 up the middle. Get you the defense behind Brian Flynn. Matt O'Neill's his catcher. Robbie Glendenning at third base. Jared Dale at short. George Khalil gets the start at second, and Darryl George is over at first. In the outfield, Jacob Robson in left field, Aaron Whitefield in center field, and Jake Skoll in right field. Next one's fouled back as well, so Flynn gets ahead 1-2.
Gotta love hearing the roar of the crowd when a foul ball comes that way. Love seeing such a packed house here in Melbourne Ballpark tonight.
Well, last night, a particularly good crowd for a Thursday night game, and Friday night with beautiful weather. Nothing too shabby here tonight. Fly ball out to right. Skoll makes the play. 2 down here in the first.
I mean, it's weird for us to think of December as the heat of the summer, being from the States, but that's what it is. I mean, this is summer baseball in Australia. Beautiful weather, and we got a great game ahead of us.
So here's the cleanup hitter and catcher, Robbie Perkins. He hits with two outs and 1 on. Robbie has had a really impressive ABL career, and he has now officially reached 300 games played in the Australian Baseball League. Taps one foul, and Darryl George became the first player to hit the 300 mark with one team when he did it in round 6 against Geelong Korea, and Robbie Perkins a couple nights later becomes the second here, hitting an even 300 all of his games played for Canberra. Guy's been around since 2012 in the ABL. A decade plus of work. Swing and a miss. Fastball upstairs. It's 0-2. Perkins, a career .262 hitter in the ABL. He's had a really nice career with the Cavalry. A mainstay in the lineup as well. 23rd game for him this year. Here's Flynn's 0-2. That missed in.
And 300 games as a catcher is impressive because, Perkins had some time as the DH, played a little bit of first base, but most of those games have come behind the plate. And to do that for such a long time is a feat in and of itself.
1-2, swing and a miss. Fastball upstairs, got him. And Flynn gets through a scoreless first. We'll head to the bottom of the first inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 man left in the top half. See if the Aces can get the bats going after this quick break on Aces TV.
At the Sporting Globe, we're a little different to other pubs and bars. We have more than just cooks, we have chefs. We have more than bar service, we have table service. We have more than specials, we have specialties. We have more than live sporting events, we have atmosphere. And we have more than customers, we have fans. It's more than a sports bar, it's a Sporting Globe.
Light and Easy's award-winning healthy meal delivery service features over 235 delicious breakfasts, lunches and dinners for everyone to enjoy. From those who want to lose weight to those who want to gain more free time. From those who want to be a little healthier to those a little older who want to age well. There's no shopping or cooking and there's no contracts or subscriptions. Just your choice of affordable, ready-to-eat meals delivered to your door when you need them. Visit lightandeasy.com.au today.
Well, it was a light and easy start to Brian Flynn's night. Picked up a strikeout to end a scoreless first. And now the Aces have a chance to jump on Canberra starter Nick Belzer, a right-hander, who is on the mound tonight, a night after Frank Gailey, last night's starter for Canberra, went 8 shutout innings. Belzer's numbers, 1-2 with a 4.41 ERA through 6 games, 5 of them starts. 32 2/3 innings of work, 21 strikeouts, 14 walks. But Josh, I think the big number is that opponents are hitting .295 against him this season.
If you're an Aces fan, you like to hear that, because that is something the Aces really need to improve after a night like last night. You've got the talent. You've got a couple of former Helms Award winners. You got some of Australia's best hitters on this Aces team. It's just time to get it done.
Aaron Whitefield, Chris Burke, and Robbie Glendinning, the first 3 to face Belzer tonight. Belzer, a native of Ankeny, Iowa, 27 years old. Whitefield swings at the first pitch and sends one sky high. Looks like the second baseman Warner's under it. He is. He makes the grab. 1 pitch, 1 out for Belzer. We'll set the defense behind the Canberra starter. Robbie Perkins doing the catching. Chris Quitzer's at third base. Jake McKenzie at short. And like I just said, Cam Warner at second. And Boss Monaroa over at first. In the outfield, Tillman Pugh in left. Cole Roederer in center. And Giovanni Garbella, great name, he's in right. You know I'm not going to miss a chance to say he's got a great name. We got the Italian connection.
Yeah. Not faulting you for it. It's a great name.
So here's Burke, the designated hitter, working his way back into regular action after a hamstring injury that he suffered in Adelaide. Sidelined him for the final 3 games of the Adelaide series in round 3 and then all of round 4 and 5. He made it back for round 6 against Geelong Korea on the road. He fouls one off Perkins' mask. Well, we talked a lot about Darryl George re-entering this Aces lineup. We talked about the addition of Ryan Lavarnway, but Chris Burke is a huge addition to get him back towards this later part of the season.
And he looked better than I've ever seen him in batting practice today. The ones that he wasn't launching towards the train station, he was just roping, pulling really nice line drive, spraying the ball opposite field, just hitting the ball really well. I'd like to see that happen in today's game as well.
Gets one off the end of the bat here. Another pop-up out to second. Well, this one, the wind takes it a little bit back over towards second. It's the shortstop McKenzie who makes the grab. Well, the wind clearly a factor early, and we've seen that be the case a lot here at Melbourne Ballpark this season. The wind tonight blowing in from center field.
Yeah, sorry Chicago, but you can name just Melbourne Ballpark the Windy City. I mean, we've seen home runs taken away. We've seen, lazy fly balls turn into home runs. I mean, just every which way, the wind has been a major factor for these hitters.
2 gone and the base is empty. Glendinning chops one foul. Umpires in tonight's ballgame, Josh Matavesi calling balls and strikes. Ian Gavin's the first base umpire. Stuart Howe over at third. He had the plate last night. Game 2 of 4 this series, round 7 of the ABL season. Aces dropped last night's series opener 8-1. All 9 runs scored in the 12th inning. Game was scoreless through 11. A pitcher's duel between Frank Gailey and Cody Mincy early. Both bullpens kept it going, and then the Cavalry bats broke out in the top of the 12th. You just don't see that very often, Josh, where you've got a game scoreless through 11, and then the final score ends up being 8-1.
I've got to look in my book here, but I think last year I had a game scoreless through 10.
Glendinning drives one to deep right field. Garbella goes back. That one's off the wall. Glendinning a big turnaround first, but he stops there. Well, that ball was hit so hard, Glendinning didn't really have an opportunity to try to stretch that into a double, but it's a 2-out long single for Robbie.
Yeah, I'd really like to see the exit velo on that, because that reminds me of that 122-mile-an-hour shot hit by O'Neal Cruz earlier in the MLB season. An absolute rocket off of Glendinning's bat, hit right in the middle of that right field wall. And when you played off the wall as well as Garbella did, you don't give the hitter much of a chance to turn a ball that you usually see go for extra bases into that.
Well, O'Neal Cruz, former teammate of Robbie Glendinning's, former teammate of Canberra hitting coach Gifton Gope as well. All four of us were together in Altoona in 2019. We should have a little bit of a reunion there. But here's Jake Skoll with Robbie over at first and 2 down here in the bottom of the first. Aces looking to strike first after Brian Flynn worked a scoreless first. Here's Belzer's next one. Misses inside, and it's a 2-0. Belzer pitched collegially at Des Moines Area Community College in Iowa, and then Minnesota State University Mankato in Mankato, Minnesota. A couple years of independent ball in the American Association. A couple years with the St. Paul Saints, and of course St. Paul now a Twins minor league team when there was a reshuffling a couple years ago. But he spent 2019 and 2020 with St. Paul. Let's take a look at that replay there. It looked like that got the home plate umpire.
Josh shook it off pretty well.
Yeah.
Seemed unfazed.
In stride. In 2021 with Sioux City in the American Association, and 2022 with Kansas City in the same league. Teammate of Jacob Robson's on the Kansas City Monarchs. Hot shot to short. McKenzie bobbles it, throws to first. Did he get him? He just did. Barely got him, but a 6-3 putout ends the first. No runs on a hit, no errors. One man left on as we take a look at this replay. Skoll busted it down the line. Didn't take it for granted. Here's the throw in slow motion. It looked like he was safe, but nonetheless called out, and the inning comes to an end. No score after an inning of play. We'll talk about that when we come back in the top of the second on Aces TV.
One Love is there for the moments with the people you love the most. To share the highs and the lows together. It's the one for all people, all times, and all places. Brick Lane's One Love Pale Ale. It's the one for all.
Great night for a ball game here at Melbourne Ballpark. Aussie Mike and Josh Sperber with you on the call. Well, Josh, it's only been a couple days since these beer bats debuted, but everybody's loving them. I think every crowd shot we've seen so far, somebody's had a beer bat.
Not just today, but yesterday, too. I mean, they're real popular, and I get why. And once again, we implore these fans to bring some beer bats up to the stadium. Maybe when Ed comes up to join us in the booth later on, he can bring us a couple beer bats.
I better see Ed. I don't want to see Ed coming up empty-handed.
No.
He's got two hands. 2 beer bats would be great.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Surprise us. Tillman Pugh sends one up the middle. Easy for George Khalil. And Brian Flynn as the leadoff man gone here in the second. So Pugh's retired. Now Boss Monaroa, Kyle Perkins to follow.
And Khalil just reads the ball so well off the bat, sliding right up the middle to make that play. Routine, but still, Khalil makes that play look a lot easier than it is.
Boss Monaroa did not start last night's game, but he entered as a pinch hitter and then finished the game over at first base. He's another guy who's had a lengthy ABL career. He debuted in this league back in 2010, the first year of the modern ABL. And first couple seasons in the league were with the Sydney Blue Sox. He played with the Blue Sox from 10 to through 13, then joined the Cavalry in 2015. Played with them through the 2018 season, went back to Sydney for 2019. And then in 2020, came back to Canberra. And here he is once again. So in total, this is his 6th season with the Cavalry and his 11th season in the ABL overall. And he's with tonight's game, he is 4 games away from the 300 mark. So if he plays in the next 2 games of this series, he'll get up to 298 before the Cavalry leave town, with a chance to get to 300 in the next round. But he's down on strikes here for out number 2. Flynn went with the slider, and it caught the inside corner.
Yeah, not often you see a strikeout looking from Brian Flynn. Usually you see guys just chasing after his stuff, but he's showcasing the breaking stuff tonight. And once he works that fastball in, he's going to be pretty deadly.
That was nasty right there. 2 up, 2 down for Flynn. He's retired the last 4 he's faced after the first inning walk. Kyle Perkins, the designated hitter, gets a shot now with the bases empty. Not a cloud in the sky here in the Melbourne area. Light blue sky off in the distance. The sun's been shining all day. A little bit of a breeze at the ballpark. We just got a gust of wind here in the press box. But that feels good with as hot as the sun's been today.
Yeah, it helps a lot. You know, getting up into the high 20s, high 30s.
A little chilly last night. Yeah. You know, I'm glad we're back to warm days here. I'm telling you, man, this Melbourne weather, sometimes it just doesn't make any sense.
Sometimes? I mean, all the time.
Pretty much. That's what I was getting to. 2-strike pitch off the end of the bat into center field. That's down for a hit. The first for the Cavalry tonight. As Whitefield picks it up and chucks it back in. So Perkins fights off a 2-strike pitch for a hit in his first at-bat. Here's the 8-hole hitter, Chris Quitzer.
You don't see a lot of just really stroke hits off of Brian Flynn. Those are the kind of ones you have to just scratch around. A little end of the bat, just getting a little bit of wood on it, enough to just poke it out into center.
Left on left for Flynn. His first pitch to Quitzer is a fastball over for a strike. And the count's 0-1. Flynn played his college ball at Wichita State, drafted by the Tigers in the 7th round of the 2011 MLB draft. And back-to-back hits for the Cavalry, station-to-station baseball as well. Perkins stops at second, and it's a base hit for Quitzer.
Good recovery, but that one just beat the shift. You know, right in between first and second base, you had Khalil shifted over a bit more towards that first base side, but not enough. And Quitzer just split the 2 defenders.
So the Cavalry have gone ground out to second, strikeout looking, single here in the inning. As Flynn looks to navigate through a scoreless second. Left-hander comes set with a quick look at second. First pitch yanked foul down the line, but well foul and out of play.
I'm seeing something different from Flynn here. It could just be that I haven't seen a pitch in a little bit of a while, but his set in the stretch is a bit different. He has his front leg kind of tilted towards the side a little bit with runners on base.
Something to keep an eye on for Brian. Here's the 0-1, swing and a miss. Change up down and away. Well, his sequencing has been really good today, mixing his pitches well. It's a guy who's got significant big league time throughout his baseball career, including the 2018 season when he spent the entire year on the Royals' big league roster. 0-2, fastball just missed. Well, we talked about it last night with Ryan Lavarnway. When you can crack a big league roster in 10 separate seasons, it's really impressive. When you can spend an entire season on a big league roster, that's impressive as well, and Flynn's done that.
Yeah, and in a starting rotation as well. I mean, being a consistent big league starter is no easy feat.
Flynn steps off, and he wants Matt O'Neill to go through the signs again. looking to get out of it and keep the Canberra Cavalry off the board. Two-strike pitch misses downstairs. So from 0-2 to 2-2. Giovanni Garbella back in right field again tonight, as he mans the 9 hole in the batting order. Here's Flynn's 2-2. Just got a piece of it. I thought that was strike 3, but barely got it off the end of the bat to stay alive.
Yeah, just one of those brushing the bat kind of pitches. Really close to being a strike 3 to Giovanni Garbella. I think Flynn's going to come back with a fastball, try and just be aggressive and get this last out.
Cavalry making Flynn work. Two-strike pitch again. Ground ball up the middle. Diving stop by Dale, who keeps it in front. And the throw home, O'Neill knocks it down. So everybody's safe, but Dale saves a run by keeping that in the infield. And the bases are loaded after the infield single by Garbella.
Yeah, that looked for a second like it was going to drive in the first run. Got to give it up to Jared Dale, selling out, just diving to make that play right on the edge of the infield turf.
Dale was at second base last night. He's played a lot of third this season. He and Robbie Glendinning bouncing back and forth between short and third pretty much every other game recently. But he saved a run for sure there. Matt O'Neill and Flynn talking things over. And Josh, this was the issue for Flynn in his last couple starts. You know, locked in early and then just a lot of singles strung together against him. It's not like he's given up home run, double, triple, homer. It's not like that. Teams aren't crushing the ball off him. You mentioned it. Not a lot of hard hit balls, but they're stringing singles together and finding holes.
This is his second season in Melbourne, his 13th start. He's allowed 4 home runs.
Keeps the ball in the ballpark, and that's huge here, especially the way the ball flies on most nights in this park. Well, he's ahead of Jake McKenzie 0-1. McKenzie bounced to short in the first. He's the 6th man to hit here in the second. That one's in the dirt. A 1-1.
But right now it's just a matter of getting one more out. He shouldn't worry about the guys on the bases. There are 2 outs in this inning. A ball caught, an easy ground out, a strikeout, that ends the inning. That ends the threat. And that's just what he needs to focus on.
1-1. Belted out to left center field, but Whitefield's over a couple steps. He makes the grab, and the inning is over. No runs on 3 hits, all singles. Brian Flynn strands the bases loaded, no errors in the inning either. And we head to the bottom of the second in a scoreless tie. Aces get another chance to get on the board first after this on Aces TV.
For over 40 years, All Green Nursery has been providing the communities of Melbourne's western and northern suburbs the best advice and results for their gardens. Our retail centre, indoor plant space and expansive nursery floor showcases over 150 varieties of vibrant plants, most of them grown locally right here in Werribee South. We have qualified horticulturalists on site to help assist with all your gardening needs, and our home decor section is stocked with a full range of quality options. All Green Nursery, your local plant nursery and garden centre. Visit our sites in Hoppers Crossing and Epping. All-Star Access Hire are your access equipment specialists. We have an extensive range of state-of-the-art equipment and we pride ourselves on delivering outstanding customer service. We have the youngest fleet of equipment in Victoria and we are consistently adding new machines. We get to know our customers and form partnerships with them. This video is of our partnership with the Victorian Government at Reservoir Station. All-Star Access Hire are proud sponsors of the Melbourne Aces and our All-Star Bar.
Bottom 2 in Melbourne as Darryl George gets set to lead off against Nick Belzer, who worked a scoreless first. Gave up a a 2-out single to Robbie Glendinning. And then Jake Skoll looked like he had beat out a grounder to short that Jake McKenzie bobbled, but he was called out. And that's how the bottom of the first ended. But here's George to lead things off. Count quickly 1-1. Robson and Dale to follow, 5, 6, 7 in the Aces order. I mentioned in the last inning that Belzer spent some time in the American Association and Pro Ball. He's also had 2 separate stints with the Milwaukee Brewers organization in the minors. 2019, pitched with the Brewers Rookie League affiliate, went 3-1 with a 3.70 ERA in 10 games, 6 of them starts. And then another stint in 2021 with the Carolina Mudcats, the Low A affiliate of the Brewers. 3.55 ERA that year, won 6 games out of his 12 starts. Overall, 112 minor league innings and a 3.62 ERA. 1-2, George takes, it's 2-2.
They have 2 guys with a whole lot of pro experience. George in his 10th year in the ABL. Belzer about that long, just about everywhere else.
Here's the 2-2 to Darrell. Fastball way inside, and he fights one off. That one looked like it was headed straight for his wrist-hand area, but he did a good job to fight this one off. Take a look at the replay. Belzer got in his kitchen there, but quick hands from George. And now Peter Moylan out to check on Darrell. I don't know. You just hope that he didn't strain that oblique again, the injury that kept him out for most of the season. It looks like he's all right. Well, my initial thought was maybe it did get him in on the hands and maybe it stung and got him jammed, but then I thought about the oblique. Who knows? But looks like he's all right.
It looked to me that just kind of buzzed the hands a little bit because it was so far inside. Batting gloves or not, a pitch that hard, that far in, you're going to feel some vibrations, and it's just not a great feeling.
He fights the 2-2 off. Well, he's battling here against Belzer.
And that's what good hitters do. You know, if you get deep in counts against these guys, they're going to foul off pitches. They're going to wait to zero in on when they want.
2-2. George sends one in the air. Shallow center. McKenzie and Warner are out. Roederer's in, and it's Roederer who makes the grab. The leadoff man retired. George heads back to the dugout. Jacob Robson will get a shot.
And that's what Belzer's been able to do. Except for that ground ball by Skoll, that single from Glendinning, we've seen a lot of soft fly balls thus far from the Aces. It seems like they're just getting a little bit underneath those pitches. But once they can get good wood on it, it really seems that this is a guy that they can just take on.
Robson's been stinging the ball. Hit a couple homers in the final game before the holiday break at Geelong, Korea in round 6. And then last night, didn't have much to show for it in the box score, but hit a couple balls hard. The one in extras that he hit, that Roederer made a diving grab on in center. And then that ball to left center that Roederer ran down. He's a guy who's finding his stroke late in the season.
And we mentioned it a little bit last night. He's changed his approach as the season's got on. He's started off the year very aggressive, swinging at just about every pitch that was coming at the plate. And part of that's his game. That's just how he likes to do it. He likes to hit in 2-strike counts, but he's been a lot more patient, and it's paid off.
He covers the strike zone so well. He's able to fight off those 2-strike pitches. And, you know, there's an art to that. You know, a lot of guys go up there and say, all right, look, I got to protect with 2 strikes, but I'm not really trying to put this one in play. I want to fight it off and wait for another pitch that I can do damage on. As Robson strikes out there for out number 2.
And that one was just a case of power pitching beating power hitting. A hard fastball. Robson was looking for something a bit softer. Belzer won that battle.
Belzer went 7 innings in each of his first 2 starts this season. And 5 in his third start. He got roughed up a little bit against Geelong, Korea. Lasted just 1 2/3 inning, got just 5 outs, but 6 innings in each of his last 2 outings. So he's been durable for Canberra, able to go deep into games. 6 innings or more 4 times. Dale fights off a breaking ball. It's 0-2. Last night, Frank Gailey chucked 8 shutout innings. The left-hander kept the Aces off balance all night. And then the bullpen took care of the rest, limiting the Aces to just 1 unearned run in 12 innings. Fastball out. It's 1-2.
A good take from Dale there. That shows baseball IQ, because on a 2-strike pitch, no balls in the count, you'll see a lot of pitchers go outside of the zone to try and get a swinging strike 3.
Ooh, up and in. And Dale didn't even have a chance to get out of the way of that one. We'll have to see on the replay where that got him. But Dale will take a slow walk down to first, and the Aces have a 2-out base runner.
Yeah, that's going to stink. You'll see right here, just look at the hand of the release of Nick Belzer. That just did not come out where he wanted it. Released it way too early, and it went right inside on Jared. Dale just hit him in the upper body. Ooh.
Right in the chest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as a hitter, you're taught to turn away from a pitch, but he didn't even have a chance to do that there.
Oh,
up in his chest around that upper left torso area.
I think he started his turn, but by the time he started, the ball was already on.
No shot to get out of the way. Good thing he's all right as he takes a modest lead off first. Monaroa holding him on. Pitch outside to O'Neill. And Matt's back in the lineup tonight. Got the night off last night.
Made way for the debut of Ryan Lavarnway. I'm sure that's a guy that O'Neill's going to want to talk to quite a lot.
Yeah, just a chance to pick the brain of a guy who spent so much time in the big leagues playing his position. And Matt's really dedicated to his craft, especially the work he does behind the plate. You know, takes a lot of pride in his defense, does a lot of work to make sure he's mobile back there and can be back there every night. Fights one off. We always see him getting his stretches in. He does yoga. And I mean, really committed to just putting his body in the best shape possible to go behind the dish every night.
Yeah, and he is usually the first guy on the field, too. Before most players get in, you see him doing his stretches, getting loose, and getting ready for games, especially on those days where he's behind the plate. But we could see a bit of change in dynamic in the last couple series because now there are 3 catchers on the roster. Burke has pretty much transitioned out of the catching role into the outfield, but you have Osborne, who they're going to want to get catching at least once a week. Same thing with Lavarnway, and O'Neill might be down to 2 games a week instead of 3.
Any way to keep that bat in the lineup, though, because he has been really productive, usually hitting in the bottom third of the order. But he has had a solid ABL debut season. 3-2, 2 outs. Dale off on the pitch, and it's ball 4. So the Aces got a little something cooking here with 2 outs. Dale to second after the walk to O'Neill. He heads down to first. So 2 free passes issued by Belzer, hit by pitch and now the walk. And George Khalil, the 9-hole hitter, comes up.
I'd like to see the same kind of start from Khalil that we saw in Adelaide. He was 4 for 4 on the Thursday game, or not in Adelaide, in Geelong, excuse me. 4 for 4 in the first game of that series in Geelong, the Aces' lone win in round 6.
George Khalil, an impressive collegiate career at South Carolina, 3 years there after playing 2 years at a JUCO in Texas. A couple seasons independent ball. He made his professional debut with Sioux City in the American Association in 2021, played 15 games there, and then played pretty much a full season with the Evansville Otters in the Frontier League in 2022, 78 games there, hit 6 homers, drove in 25. Makes a fastball in the outer half, it's 0-2.
And he's got a really underrated bat. You don't think a guy that's as skinny as he would be able to hit for as much power as he does. But he's hit a couple homers this year, and his glove is something that is going to keep him in professional baseball for a long time.
Here's the 0-2 to George. Swing and a miss. Fastball got him. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Belzer. The Aces leave 2 out on base. And we are scoreless through 2 full. Same situation we had last night. But hopefully we're seeing some runs earlier in the game tonight. Josh will take back over on the play-by-play after this as we go to the top of the third on Aces TV.
Aussie gardeners are best served by Aussie tools, built specifically for our unique environment and conditions. Back in the 1890s, Leonard Chambers and William Thompson started a beekeeping supply business in Melbourne. Little would they know that their company would go on to change how Australians garden for well over a century. Cyclone is ingrained into our country's history and our way of life. Our tools are long-lasting and purpose-built for hard work.
We've been making quality tools for over a century.
They last that long, you can hand them down to the next generation.
Good, quality, honest product that the Australian people have grown to love.
It's not an Aussie shed without a cyclone.
My biggest takeaway of being here for 34 years is just sense of pride in the product.
Australians buy good products. So if they keep on buying, we keep on making, so we're here.
Cyclone tools, made for Australians.
When enjoying a punt, easy does it with Punt 123. Punt123.bet is your home for all your punting needs with same race multis and same game multi options, including daily promotions on all the major sporting and racing events. It's punting made easy. Get in the game with Punt 123. Visit punt123.bet or download the app today. Gamble responsibly. If gambling becomes an issue for you, call 1-800-858-858.
4 hits combined. No runs scored through the first 2 innings. Something we saw through the first 5 last night. Could have another pitcher's duel here in Melbourne Ballpark. Josh Sperber, Mark Antonini, as the Aces and Cavalry are deadlocked in another scoreless tie. 2, 3, and 4 coming up for Canberra to face Brian Flynn. Here's his first pitch to the lefty Cole Roederer. It's a slider outside. Count 1-0. And those are going to be his bread and butter pitches. That 2-seam fastball, a slider. Flynn says he throws about 80% of the time. He'll work in his 4-seam occasionally, a curve and a change as well. 1-0 is a slider again, and it's 1-1 now to Roederer, who was the first base runner of the ball game. Walked on a full count against Flynn back in the first inning.
Well, Flynn's been able to be a 2-pitch pitcher most of the time because that slider is just so unhittable, and the fastball's been electric as well.
Roederer gets a bat on the slider but sends it foul, and especially 2 lefties. I think we've seen maybe 1 hit on Flynn's slider all year long from a left-handed batter.
Yeah, it's pretty much game over lefty-lefty against Brian Flynn. And it's just so, I mean, lefty-lefty traditionally is a tough matchup in baseball, but when you've got a guy with a sweeping slider like that, he's able to keep it down in the zone all the time. You know, he doesn't hang that pitch ever.
There's a slider, misses upstairs, and it's 2-2 now to Roederer.
Even there he missed, but he missed high enough where it's not a hanger. It's clearly a ball out of the zone. So you're not going to see him just drop that one middle for a guy to mash.
And you don't see a lot of mashes off of Brian Flynn. In his second season in the ABL, he has given up just 2 homers in each season, both with the Aces. Roederer lets that slider go, and once again, he works a full count. Roederer, another guy, one of the top prospects in the Cubs system. He's made it as high as 12 on that list according to MLB Pipeline. Now he's in the top 20s as the Cubs farm system has gained a whole lot of new faces via drafts and trades. From the Southern League runners-up Tennessee Smokies last year, as Roederer is called out on strikes. He thought it was a walk. The trademark bat flipped towards the dugout, and he thought he was headed to first base. But we'll take a look at the replay for strike 3. Yep, painting the corner. A nasty slider from Brian Flynn. 3rd strikeout of the ball game, moves him up to 35 on the season.
Tough pitch to hit right there. Fastball up and away, but it did catch just the very top of that corner.
And there's a slider in there for a strike on Cam Warner, 0-1 the count. And I think that's another reason he's been able to be so successful with those two pitches because that two-seam fastball has a lot of tail, and it looks so similar to the slider. You don't know what's coming. This is bounced to second base. Easy play for Khalil. Throw almost pulls George off the bag, but 2 away.
Flynn looks really good right now after giving up the 3 straight hits with 2 outs in the second. He's settled down, got that fly out to strand the bases loaded, and now a punch out and an easy ground out. And this is when Brian Flynn is at his best, is when he's limiting the hard contact and mixing in those punch outs as well, doing it with all his pitches. That's a good sign for Brian.
And he's now tied with Kim Jae-young of Geelong, Korea for 4th in the ABL with 35 strikeouts after the one on Rotorua. And here is a 1-0 count to the newest 300-game player in the ABL in Robbie Perkins. 1-0. Misses outside of the fastball, 1-1. Perkins was his first strikeout victim, as Mike mentioned earlier on, in his 300th game here tonight. 211 of those behind the plate, as that settles in for strike 2. And that's just so impressive. If you can play 70+, almost 70% of your games as a catcher, hitting 300 as the slider misses low, 2-2.
Yeah, I'm so impressed by catchers who are able to catch as long as guys like Perkins and, Lavarnway throughout his career, and what some of the all-time greats in the big leagues do. It's just such a grueling position. It really wears you out. I mean, there's so much that goes into it, having to work with different pitchers. Sometimes you're catching 4, 5, 6 different pitchers a night. And, you got to be locked in. You got to know what they're throwing. You got to know their tendencies. And then you still have to find a way to do it with the bat.
Perkins no hit, but a walk is as good as a hit, as they say. The second walk of the day for Brian Flynn, tying his season high. 2 outs now for Tillman Pugh. First pitch, a breaking ball, catching the outside corner for a called strike. And yeah, I think you're absolutely right, but for the Aces, it's really been just Matt O'Neill catching Brian Flynn in this shorter season. 0-1, hit on the ground to third. Easy play for Glenn Dinning. Can of corn over to first, and that will end the inning. So a 2-out walk puts a runner on for Canberra, but Flynn looks sharp through 3. Scoreless frames in a 0-0 tie heading into the bottom half of the 3rd inning here at Melbourne Ballpark.
At the Sporting Globe, we're a little different to other pubs and bars. We have more than just cooks, we have chefs. We have more than bar service, we have table service. We have more than specials, we have specialties. We have more than live sporting events, we have atmosphere. And we have more than customers, we have fans. It's more than a sports bar, it's a Sporting Globe.
Light and Easy's award-winning healthy meal delivery service features over 235 delicious breakfasts, lunches and dinners for everyone to enjoy. From those who want to lose weight to those who want to gain more free time. From those who want to be a little healthier to those a little older who want to age well. There's no shopping or cooking and there's no contracts or subscriptions. Just your choice of affordable, ready-to-eat meals delivered to your door when you need them. Visit lightandeasy.com.au today.
Bottom of the 3rd here in Melbourne Ballpark, still scoreless. The Aces, 1 hit, a hit by pitch and a walk through 2 innings. And now the top of the order coming up for the 3rd. Whitefield, Burke, and Glenn Dinning to face off against Belzer. Josh Sperber, Mike Marcantonini, as the Aces looking there for their first win of the series to break that .500 record at home. Whitefield saws himself off. You can see that bat is broken. And once again swings the first pitch and is retired for 1 out.
Well, Aaron's been really aggressive tonight. 2 pitches, 2 swings, 2 times making it out. So, you know, he's just trying to change things up there. You know, so you see, hunt that first pitch fastball and just hasn't been able to make great contact so far, but he's getting there.
Now, he's a guy who's just due. He's too talented to be hitting below 200 as he is right now as the first pitch misses away to Burke. But not too much time in the season left, but I think he's going to come around. 1-0 to the lefty Burke. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, he's been a star in the ABL. I mean, Aaron has been so productive in this league, so you figure he'll come around sooner or later. But a lot of guys on this Aces team have been trying to work their way back into, you know, the normal rhythm they're in because of injuries. And we know that Burke and George have suffered injuries earlier on this ABL season. Whitefield had a tough injury to his knee back during the minor league season.
Burke chops this to short, but it's taken by Quitzer at third for out number 2.
So it's tough to come back from injuries like that, whether it's, you know, a current injury you're dealing with during the current season or something that you battled earlier in the calendar year. And I mean, this Aces team just hasn't had their full healthy, you know, A team out there. You know, the 1 through 9 that you run out there every day. I mean, they just haven't been able to consistently put those same 9 guys out there because of different circumstances.
And now 2 gone for Robbie Glendenning. Swings the first pitch, sends it into right, and a sliding catch made by Garbella. Yeah, he made it. Glendenning certainly thought he got a single out of that one. It was hard to tell, but let's take a look at it right here. Garbella made the slide. Yep. Clean for the Canberra right fielder as they get a quick inning. And Glendenning can't believe it. Robbie, you're not alone. 3 up, 3 down in the third for Melbourne. 3 scoreless frames. And we head into the fourth and a 0-0 tie.
One Love is there for the moments with the people you love the most. To share the highs and the lows together. It's the one for all people, all times, and all places. Brick Lane's One Love Pale Ale. It's the one for all.
Once again, we've gone through the first third of the game without a run. 3 hits for Canberra, all coming in the second. 1 for the Aces. And Brian Flynn looks to keep the game scoreless as he gets a swing and a miss on Boss Monaroa to start things off. Three singles by Canberra, all of them coming after Monaroa's strikeout back in the second. 0-1 and a called strike 2 on a nice slider. And Flynn looking like his usual self.
Yeah, he's doing his thing out there. Aces with the bats would love to get him some early run support, but right now Brian just taking care of business on his end, and that's really all he can control.
Flynn, the 0-2. Chop to second. Easy play for Khalil, who takes the late hop over to first for out number 1. And it's looking pretty routine.
And it's the middle innings where Flynn started to struggle in his last two outings. Round 4 at home against Brisbane, then round 6 against Geelong Korea. Locked down early in the first couple innings in both those starts, and then that's where the opponent started to string hits together. But he's done a good job working at it, trouble when he's gotten himself into it, limiting the walks, and just keeping guys off base for the most part.
And doing things like that, getting swing and miss strikes on just about everyone as he gets Kyle Perkins to miss on a breaking ball. Kyle, brother of Robbie Perkins and former Melbourne ace. Another called strike. He has not missed so far in this inning. 2 0-2 counts on the first two hitters for Canberra. The 0-2. Breaking ball, first ball of the inning, and it's 1-2 now.
And Flynn hasn't run a ton of deep counts tonight because he's been getting ahead of guys. And in the starts where he's struggled, the pitch count has risen quickly because he's been a little all over the place.
1-2, cut on and missed, strike 3. A nasty sweeping slider for Brian Flynn. His fourth punch out of the day, second out here in the fourth.
A ton of movement on his pitches tonight. That's really good to see. And he's getting that late break on that pitch down in the zone. And another example of, when he throws that breaking ball, he keeps it low because, if you make contact against it, you're not doing too much with it. But most times, there's no contact at all.
Just like that. This time a high slider to Chris Quitzer. Say that 10 times fast.
That's not easy.
0-1 count to the lefty. Lefty on lefty for the second time this inning. Flynn deals. Swing and a miss. Another nasty slider. And Quitzer providing a fan for the whole crowd.
Yeah, he is so smooth out there. Flynn he looks locked in. He's comfortable, and he knows that left on left, that slider is money.
Here's the 0-2. Wave and a whiff, strike 3. Brian Flynn breezing through the Cavalry. 2 straight strikeouts to end the inning. And he gets the Capital team down in order. 1, 2, 3. Bottom of the fourth coming up on Aces TV. Melbourne looking to break the scoreless tie.
For over 40 years, All Green Nursery has been providing the communities of Melbourne's western and northern suburbs the best advice and results for their gardens. Our retail centre, indoor plant space and expansive nursery floor showcases over 150 varieties of vibrant plants, most of them grown locally right here in Werribee South. We have qualified horticulturalists on site to help assist with all your gardening needs, and our home decor section is stocked with a full range of quality options. All Green Nursery, your local plant nursery and garden centre. Visit our sites in Hoppers Crossing and Epping. All-Star Access Hire are your access equipment specialists. We have an extensive range of state-of-the-art equipment and we pride ourselves on delivering outstanding customer service. We have the youngest fleet of equipment in Victoria and we are consistently adding new machines. We get to know our customers and form partnerships with them. This video is of our partnership with the Victorian Government at Reservoir Station. All-Star Access Hire are proud sponsors of the Melbourne Aces and our All-Star Bar.
The pitchers cruising so far in Melbourne, but the Dogs in this Melbourne Aces Greyhound sprint, not so much. We're going to see a bit of a collision, kind of on purpose. That looked like a stiff arm from one of those good boys.
I'm throwing a flag on that one, Josh. That's foul play right there.
That one in fair territory from Skoll, a high chopper to second. One pitch went out in the fourth. Yeah, I don't want anyone doing that when I'm running around the field.
Yeah, I'm good on that. So I think you're implying that at some point you're going to go do that race on the field.
Maybe.
I'll just stay up here in the booth and give the play-by-play.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to give that ruling to Ace, the official referee of the Aces Greyhound Sprint.
It's Ace's field.
Yeah.
We're just using it.
Yeah. I mean, it's really Ace's world. We're all living in it.
Pretty much.
He was manning our team store earlier on. I'm sure that led to record sales. If you're at the ballpark, make sure to go to the team store right by the first base gate. All kinds of Aces merchandise.
That's one way to drive up sales. Annie knows what she's doing at that team store.
Oh, she does.
She knows how to bring people in there.
Darryl George swings and misses. It's strike one.
That's a shrewd sales tactic right there.
I mean, you put Ace everywhere, people are going to come flocking.
Give Ace a beer bat. The sales, which are already high, will probably double.
Ooh, that's a good idea for a social media picture. Swing and a miss. Strike two to Darryl George, who flied out to center in his last time up. George 0 in the series so far. And it's been a tale of 4 starting pitchers, really. All of them started off very strong in this series. Pops this one foul, and we'll stay at 1-2.
You know, it may not be this at bat, but at some point soon, he's going to get a hanger in the middle of the zone and absolutely clobber it over the left field wall.
A guy who fouls off as many pitches as he does is just waiting for one like that to just destroy.
We saw a couple balls that he crushed in that round 1 series against GK.
1-2. Hit right back up the middle to Belzer. Easy play. He'll take a couple steps to first before making the out. So George's average down below 300 for the first time this season. Former Helms Award winner in his 10th season with the Aces. Career average of 276 in 10 seasons with the Aces. And now Jacob Robson will come up, try and get another 2-out hit for the Aces. A clean inning in the third for Belzer was his first 1-2-3. Other than that, the base runners have all come with 2 outs for Melbourne. Robson struck out swinging his last time up, the first strikeout victim of Belzer. 1-0. Lets it go, 2-0. Both of Belzer's strikeouts came in the second inning, along with his only walk and the hit on Jared Dale, who is in the on-deck circle. 2-0 pitch. Robson lets it go when it's 3-0. Robson looking to be a 2-out base runner for the third inning. For the third time here in the fourth, as he faces a 3-0 pitch. High fastball, and Robson will head to first base. Second walk of the day for Canberra pitching. Each starter has now walked 2.
It's impressive to see Robson work a count. I mean, if it's not in the zone, he's not swinging. Really low chase rate, and just looking at the Aces team stats this year, I mean, he leads the team in walks, and it's not even close. That's his 14th walk this season. Nobody else has more than 9.
It just shows the impressive plate discipline of a former big leaguer. Guy who played parts of 2021 with the Detroit Tigers. Jared Dale looking to get there himself as he takes a called strike on the inside corner. Guy who's in the Padres system. Played primarily at second base for the Fort Wayne Tin Caps in the Midwest League. 0-1. Robson's check back to first base. Close, but no cigar, as Robson is sliding in safely.
I'd like to see Robson run here. 2 outs. If you get thrown out, it's not that big a deal. But a chance to get in scoring position when runs are hard to come by, I think he should go here.
And there he goes. Robson off on the pitch. The pitch is going to miss, but Robson will not. 6th stolen base of the season for Jacob Robson. Second on the team, and the Aces have a runner in scoring position for the second time.
They don't pay me for my analysis. They pay me for play-by-play. But, hey, if they want to throw some extra in that paycheck, I'm not going to say no.
On your Tony Romo tip over there, just predicting things. And Robson trying to ignite a 2-out rally here. Still scoreless in the fourth, and it's 2-1 now to Dale.
All right, so now what's going to happen is Dale's going to hit a single up the middle. Robson's going to come around and score.
I'd like to see that.
May not happen on this next pitch, but that's what's going to happen.
Well, we shall see. I know I hope you're right. I'm sure the packed crowd here in Melbourne Ballpark does as well. 2-1 is hit high in the air into the gap in left center field, but Roederer's going to ease under it to make the grab. So the Aces strand a runner on second base on no hits in the fourth inning, and we are still scoreless through 4 at Melbourne Ballpark. I'll pass the mic back to Aussie Mike as we take a break heading into the 5th. Makers of Dasher and Fisher began in 2017 with a vision to specialize in gins that speak of place and express Tasmania's remoteness and untouched beauty. Taste the rich, fertile soils and pure Cradle Mountain snowmelt in every drop of Dasher and Fisher Tasmanian gin. Crew fitness and performance has a more than vision. What drives the crew team and its members is a dedication to community and an eagerness to be surrounded by a personal growth culture. Stop into their location in Braybrook or Hoppers Crossing to see for yourself. Thanks to new partner Get Duck, select premium seating at Melbourne Ballpark now features in-seat ordering and delivery of your favorite food and drink. Our very own Ed Wyatt decided to check things out near the premium outdoor boxes, currently available online for only $40 per seat.
Plenty of seating options here in Melbourne Ballpark. I'm in the grandstand reserve. Great seat watching the Aces up to bat. If you want to kick it up a notch, over here are the premium outdoor boxes. You got 2 seats side by side. Food and drink delivered to your seat, powered by GetDuck.io. You just hit the QR code. Voila, food and drink delivered to you. Something for everyone. Let's go, Aces.
Top of the 5th inning at Melbourne Ballpark. No score, similar to what we saw last night, a game that was scoreless into the middle innings and stayed scoreless through 11. The Cavalry ended up winning that game last night 8-1, and now we're scoreless in the middle innings again. Bunt attempt from Giovanni Garbella. Matt O'Neill takes care of that. He fires it over to first and then helps his pitcher Brian Flynn up. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Now, you're not going to pull a fast one on any Melbourne Aces catcher. Garbella tries to sneak one down, bounce it on the plate, and O'Neill was all over it. He's got good speed for a backstop, and of course, showing off that fantastic arm.
Matt O'Neill taking care of Garbella. Brian Flynn gets another quick out. He's retired the leadoff man in all 5 innings tonight, which is a really good sign for Brian. Ace is just looking to get him some run support. I know I said it during the broadcast last night, where it was a night where we thought that 1 run was going to win it. Now, of course, the Cavalry exploded for 8 runs in 1 inning. But, similar makings tonight. A run could do it the way both these starters are going.
Yeah, there just has not been a lot of offense early on. You got to give a lot of credit to these starting pitchers. We certainly saw the best from Mincy last night, and we're seeing it again from Flynn.
This one's yanked down the left field line. It's got home run distance, and it is a homer. A solo shot for Jake McKenzie as he takes Brian Flynn deep here with 1 out in the 5th. And the Cavalry take a 1-0 lead, just as we were talking that 1 run might do it tonight.
Well, certainly we hope that's not the case, but that is a rare thing to see. Aside from the fact that Flynn limits the homers quite well, you don't see him hang a lot of pitches, and that's really what he does. The slider coming into the right-hander can prove dangerous, and you take a look at it right here. Just a bit of a miss, hung that over the plate, and McKenzie made him pay.
Well, McKenzie put a good swing on it, took it to the pool side. Well, it's 1-0 Canberra here in the 5th. Well, here's Cole Roederer, 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. It's the first homer of the series for either team. Nothing left the yard last night. Fly ball to left center. Robson calls for it, and he's under that one. So Flynn comes back after allowing the solo shot and picks up out number 2 in the 5th.
And you got to like the rare times you'll see a mistake made from Brian Flynn. He usually come back right into attack mode. A lot of fastballs, attacking the hitters, and forcing weaker contact like that fly out from Roederer there.
Well, the Aces play from behind here in the middle innings. Flynn looking to limit the damage. Here's Cam Warner. First pitch fastball misses out. Now this is an Aces lineup that's really looking to break out. Just one run in this series. Came in the bottom of the 12th last night. It was an unearned run. Another one flipped foul. It's 1-1. Aces looking to put something on the board for Brian Flynn. Well, Flynn this season in 5 starts, he's gotten only 8 runs of support. That's less than 2 runs a game. So far, a goose egg in the run column for the Aces, but we know how quickly that can change. In the bottom of the 5th, the Aces will have O'Neill, Khalil, and Whitefield due up, 8-9-1. As they look for a come-from-behind win to even this series up at 1 game apiece.
We've seen it happen before. We've seen it while Flynn was starting.
1-2 down in the zone, a called strike 3. Well, Brian's middle name is Anthony, but I think he should just change it to the middle initial K. 6 punch-outs for Flynn through 5 innings of work as he continues to climb the leaderboard in the ABL. We're through 4.5. It's 1-0 Canberra thanks to the solo shot from Jake McKenzie. We go to the bottom of the 5th after this on Aces TV.
At the Sporting Globe, we're a little different to other pubs and bars. We have more than just cooks, we have chefs. We have more than bar service, we have table service. We have more than specials, we have specialties. We have more than live sporting events, we have atmosphere. And we have more than customers, we have fans. It's more than a sports bar, it's a Sporting Globe.
Light and Easy's award-winning healthy meal delivery service features over 235 delicious breakfasts, lunches and dinners for everyone to enjoy. From those who want to lose weight to those who want to gain more free time. From those who want to be a little healthier to those a little older who want to age well. There's no shopping or cooking and there's no contracts or subscriptions. Just your choice of affordable, ready-to-eat meals delivered to your door when you need them. Visit lightandeasy.com.au.
Matt O'Neill leads off the bottom of the 5th for the Aces, who trail the Canberra Cavalry 1-0, thanks to a Jake McKenzie solo homer in the top of the 5th. Brian Flynn was cruising up till that point, and to his credit, he did a good job limiting the damage to just 1 run, retired the next 2 batters to get out of it. A run on 4 hits, no errors for Canberra, no runs on just 1 hit, no errors for the Aces. Robbie Glendinnings's 2-out single in the 1st, the only hit of the game for the Aces. Nick Belzer, who's looked really good on the mound and is now working with a lead, has walked 2 and hit a batter. He hit Dale in the 2nd, then he walked O'Neill after that. Then he walked Robson in the 4th, but Robson, who stole 2nd, was left at 2nd after Dale flew out to center. So it's O'Neill, Khalil, and Whitefield as Belzer continues to navigate through this Aces order. The Aces just 1 run through 16 full innings, now into the 17th inning of the series. Chopper to 3rd. O'Neill busting it down the line, but he's retired. 5-3 on the putout as Quitzer makes the play.
And this is where you're going to see more aggressive at-bats for Melbourne. They know they're down a run. They know that their pitcher is doing his job. The one mistake has really been it. And it just needs to continue. The Aces just need to start getting some guys on base, show a bit more urgency on offense, and get some runs.
Here's George Khalil, see if he can get on and then flip things over to the top. As Belzer comes to the plate with a fastball. Well, that looked like it was ticketed for center, but Belzer knocks it down off of his leg. I don't know which leg, but he's able to recover and throw to first to retire Khalil. And that's just the way things are going right now for the Aces. I mean, that looked like a clean base hit all the way, and just catches him in the lower leg and takes away a hit.
Looks like it went off the right leg, and Belzer's limping, and he took a second to get to that. Khalil almost beat that out for a single, and now you have the trainer coming out with Dave McCaskey just checking on his starting pitcher, but it seems like Belzer's going to be able to push through this one.
Took a shot off that lower right leg, and anything leg-related with a pitcher, that's never good because of, you know, whether it's the plant leg or the drive leg. And for Belzer, it was the right leg, right?
Yeah.
I think it was the right. Okay, yeah.
You can see him limping on that right leg, and they're going to give Belzer a chance to toss a couple warm-up pitches.
Yeah, and so, I mean, that right leg, that's his plant leg. You know, he's got a, you know, it all comes forward because of that plant leg, and looks like he's all right.
Yeah, the control was a bit off on that first warm-up pitch. Second one looked a lot better, and Belzer will stay in the ballgame.
Yeah, definitely a stinger right there for Belzer, but he's got 2 up, 2 down in the 5th. He's held the Aces hitless since the 1st. He worked a 1-2-3 third, a chance for a 1-2-3 fifth here, but Whitefield standing in the way. He shows bunt and pulls back, and you know, I haven't thought about the bunt with Whitefield a lot, Josh, but you know, that could be something that gets him going. Sometimes all it takes is a little bunt single, and you know, you get one in the hit column, then you just start raking after that.
And the power is something you expect more from Whitefield, but it's like you said, he just needs something to get him going, and beating out a bunt to first could be his way of trying to get himself going, trying to use his legs to get himself a hit, but also it could just be some mind games on Nick Belzer.
One to Whitey, fouls it back. You ever seen the movie Summer Catch? Set in the Cape Cod League with Freddie Prinze Jr. and Matthew Lillard, Jessica Biel.
A long time ago,
okay.
But yes.
So one of my favorite baseball movies. It's underrated, but you know, Matthew Lillard, who plays a catcher in the Cape Cod League, you know, he's in a terrible slump, drops a bunt single down, and then he starts hitting after that, and he just goes on an absolute tear. So that's what came to mind when I saw Whitefield drop a bunt down. You never know. He drops one down, maybe he goes, you know, 7 for his next 11. You just never know.
It could happen. Wouldn't surprise me, I'll tell you that.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, make it 3-2. Whitefield works it full.
And Whitefield is a guy who just needs to get on base. We saw it in that Brisbane series. He had an RBI single to tie the game in that walk-off win, the last home win for the Aces, and stole second and third. I'd like to see that if he walks here.
Swing and a miss on 3-2. Belzer picks up his 3rd strikeout of the game, and he retires the Aces in order for the 2nd time in the last 3 innings. So he's through 5 shutout innings. We are through 5 full. We go to the top of the 6th after this. Ed Wyatt will join me in the booth. He'll be with Josh for the 7th. But we'll take a quick break. 1-0 Canberra here on Aces TV.
One Love is there for the moments with the people you love the most. To share the highs and the lows together. It's the one for all people, all times, and all places. Brick Lane's One Love Pale Ale. It's the one for all.
We've played 5 full at Melbourne Ballpark on a beautiful night for baseball here in Melbourne, Victoria. Michael Marcantonini in the booth with you. Josh Sperber taking a break this inning to give Ed Wyatt his old seat in the booth. Hot shot to third. Glendinning knocks it down. No play. It looks like we've got an infield single to start off the top of the 6th. Robbie Perkins reaches for the second time tonight. Well, Ed, it's good to have you back in the booth. Had some fun chatting with you last night, and I got to believe it's got to feel good for you to be back here at Melbourne Ballpark.
Yeah, it certainly is, although last night was one of the most bizarre games I've seen in all the years I've watched baseball. Nothing till the 12th inning, and then 8 runs from Canberra, which was ridiculous. So sort of off to a similar start tonight, but let's hope it ends in a different way.
Yeah, well, if somebody's going to score 8, well, hopefully it's the home team. Tillman Pugh shows bunt. He stabs at it and misses. It's 0-1.
I was thinking about it last night. Great pitching from Mincy and Gailey, and then similar tonight. Just not a lot of hits. Pitchers in control. Games moving along quickly. Just really remarkable from the pitchers. But on the other hand, the bats need to warm up.
Brian Flynn allowed a solo home run to Jake McKenzie in the last inning. And now Tillman Pugh sends one for a ride. Deep right center, and that one's gone. A 2-run shot for Tillman Pugh. It's 3-0 Canberra. And the Cavalry break it open a little bit.
I said the bats need to warm up. I was actually referring to the Aces bats, not the Cavalry bats. But, that was hit pretty well over right center field fence by Pugh.
Well, that ball was absolutely stung off the bat of Pugh, and it's the second home run that Flynn's allowed in as many innings. And, before that pitch, I was getting set to ask you, Ed, do you think the lack of offense, save for that 12th inning last night, do you think the lack of offense over these last 2 games has anything to do with the holiday break and these 2 teams, really every team in the league, having 11 days off in between games?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit to that. I also think the pressure that, the Aces are not used to being in this situation. They're back-to-back champions. We take last year out of it, obviously, but they're not used to being in a situation where they're below 500. They're trying a little bit too hard, forcing things a bit.
Another left-on-left matchup for Flynn. He goes to the slider again, misses up and in. Counts 1-2 on Boss Monaroa.
One of the great names in the ABL, big boss man.
We were talking about it yesterday. Fantastic name. Anytime you can go by Boss, you're going to get some respect with any room you enter. O'Neill gives chase, but that one's out of play.
Yeah, that's never been my nickname, Mike. I'll be honest with you. It's never been nicknamed Boss.
Yeah. I've gotten the casual, hey, what's up, boss man, before, but, we all get that from time to time.
You mentioned great night for baseball. It's another huge crowd. We had, like we said last night, the biggest crowd, I think, in recent memory on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Massive crowd again tonight on a Friday.
Yeah, it's great to see so many people in the seats. Perfect night for a ball game as Monaroa goes down swinging. Strikeout number 7 for Brian Flynn as he gets out number 1 of the 6th. But it is great to see this ballpark packed, and you've been here a while and you've seen it at its finest. During 2 championship runs, how many people pack into this place? And
yep.
I haven't gotten quite the taste of that, but this is pretty cool to see everybody here.
Rowdy crowd tonight as well, Mike.
It's those beer bats.
I was going to say that, but yeah, I think you're right. The party deck is full off to our right, and as I walk through there, some pretty salty language coming out of there. They're definitely getting on the Canberra players a bit, which is all in good fun, I should say.
Yeah.
When I say salty, it's you and I can't say it on the air, but
right.
Nothing offensive, just the good old baseball trash talk.
Yeah, I love it. Plenty of great spots to grab a drink and grab some food at Melbourne Ballpark. You got the All-Star Bar down right field, the Cyclone Tool Shed and left, the canteen, some food trucks here. And then I know you've been a busy man. They've got you moving all around the ballpark tonight. You were doing some video stuff down during the 3rd and 4th inning, I hear?
Yeah, I was out in the All-Star Bar. Great crowd down there. That's along the first base line. I think it's $55. You get a seat and 4 drinks.
Okay. I like that.
And then, as I mentioned, the party deck where you just kind of get a great view of the stands down the first base line. Great view of the field.
Oh, the party deck's a great spot up there. Now, I've never been up there during a game, but just walking up there, during the week when we're at the ballpark doing stuff, just walking around the park, just kind of taking in a view from a different angle. It's a good spot to watch a game from up there.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, and I know that they haven't always had that roof on that party deck out there, but with all the rain we had over the first couple rounds of the season, that turned out to come in clutch for the people up there. Another strikeout for Brian Flynn. Give him 8 in the game now as he continues to rack up the Ks. And I mark strikeouts with red pen in my book so they stand out.
I like
this
it.
whole left side of my book is KKK with.
I like that, actually. I've never seen that.
No?
I've seen a lot of people keep a really good book, but I really like that right there. That's great.
A lot of red on that left side of the scorebook.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, 3 runs.
Yeah. Yeah, the 2 home runs have hurt Flynn so far tonight. All 3 Canberra runs coming via the long ball. Jake McKenzie, the solo shot with 1 out in the 5th. Leadoff single from Robbie Perkins in the 6th, and then Tillman Pugh followed with a 2-run shot to right center. 1-0 to the left-handed swinger Chris Quitzer with 2 down. We'll see if Flynn can pick up another punch-out and tie his season high with 9. Brian working quickly. Here's the 2-0. Popped up left side of the diamond. We'll see who wants it. Dale's over. So is Glendinning. And it's Dale who goes in front of Robbie to make the grab. And the inning is over. Damage done in the frame. 2 runs on 2 hits for the Cavalry. The Tillman Pugh 2-run shot gives the Cavalry some breathing room. But Flynn, a good job to retire the next 3 in order and limit the damage. 3-0 Cavalry as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Keep it locked on Aces TV.
For over 40 years, All Green Nursery has been providing the communities of Melbourne's western and northern suburbs the best advice and results for their gardens. Our retail centre, indoor plant space and expansive nursery floor showcases over 150 varieties of vibrant plants, most of them grown locally right here in Werribee South. We have qualified horticulturists on site to help assist with all your gardening needs, and our home decor section is stocked with a full range of quality options. All Green Nursery, your local plant nursery and garden centre. Visit our sites in Hoppers Crossing and Epping. All-Star Access Hire are your access equipment specialists. We have an extensive range of state-of-the-art equipment and we pride ourselves on delivering outstanding customer service. We have the youngest fleet of equipment in Victoria and we are consistently adding new machines. We get to know our customers and form partnerships with them.
Chris Burke digs in to lead off the bottom of the 6th for the Aces. It's Burke, Glendinning, and Skoll 2-3-4 against Nick Belzer, who's out there with 3 runs of support to work with. It's 3-0 Canberra. As Burke takes a strike on the inner half, 1-1. Michael Marcantonini with you on the call. Ed Wyatt with me in the booth. Josh Sperber will hop back in place of me in the next half inning, in the next inning, and Ed will stick around for another one. Well, Ed, it's your first time at Melbourne Ballpark since round 1 against Geelong, Korea. I wanted to ask you last half inning, but I ran out of time, so I'll ask you here. I mean, over the years of all the games you've seen here, I mean, what's been the most fun for you about being at the ballpark?
I just think, and this is going to sound very strange, the overall spirit of the Aces over the years has just been something special. Let's hope that drops in.
Burke flicks one off the end of the bat, but Garbella races in to make the grab.
There have been so many good moments, but there have been so many just memorable guys that really made the Delman Young and Darryl George out here tonight. And just over the years, there's just always been a good feeling about the Aces in the ballpark. And even this year, the team is struggling mightily, but the fans are here. There's a good feeling. They're good guys. Yeah. You really want them to win. I know that kind of sounds like a wishy-washy answer, but it's an overall vibe, I think.
I completely get what you're saying. I mean, the vibes in the ballpark from the jump, from Game 1 back on November 11th, have been high. And it's cool to see the fans show out for this team. I mean, even with the players changing every year, and just seeing as Glendinning chops one to third, handled by Quitzer over to first, 2 up, 2 down here in the 6th. It's cool to see these fans and how much passion they have for Aces baseball, especially after it's been a while since there's been a full official ABL season because of the COVID pandemic.
Yeah, absolutely right. And you don't want to. I don't want to look ahead too far, but you can see this year as a building year and next year as a stronger year for the league on a whole, right? We've got Auckland back, Geelong Korea back, so I think it even is going to make it stronger in 2023.
Here's Skull with 2 gone and the base is empty.
Just the same problem as last night, isn't it? The Ace is just not getting hits. I mean, another 1 hit here tonight. So just really need to string a couple together, get some men on base, get some hits.
Glendinnings's 2-out single in the first, the only hit for the Aces.
Yeah.
Other than that, 2 walks and a hit batter, that's it.
Seems like a long time ago.
Yeah.
Glendenning got that hit.
Yeah, it seems like a long time ago, but the pace of this game, it feels at the same time it might have been 15 minutes ago. I mean, it's we're an hour and a half into the game. We're in the bottom of the 6th here.
I kept looking at last night's game. Going in extra innings, it was like 9:30. Like normally you'd be, we're out of here.
We're in the 7th inning at 8 o'clock.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy.
But I guess when you don't get hits, that happens.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, game was 3 hours and 26 minutes last night, and the game went 12 innings, and we had an 8-run half inning.
That's a very good
That's
point.
tough to do. 3-1 the count on Skull. We'll see if he can get a pitch to hit here on 3-1. Well, the Aces spoiled a couple scoring chances, a couple walk-off chances in the later innings last night in the 9th, 10th, and 11th. The Skull works a 5-pitch walk here to put a man on for Darryl George. We'll see if Georgie can do some damage here.
3rd walk for Belzer, and also had that hit by pitch, Jared Dale in the 2nd. Other than that, pretty solid.
There's not a lot of balls put in play. 5 base runners, but only 1 baseball put in play, and for a hit, I should say. Pitching to contact well, just 3 strikeouts.
All right, Georgie's due right here.
So here's Darryl with a man on first. With 1 swing, he could cut the deficit to a run. And Josh and I were talking about it earlier, Ed. It's only a matter of time before an opposing pitcher hangs one in the middle of the zone, whether it's a breaking ball or they just put a fastball middle for him and he just blasts one. He's still working his way back from an injury he suffered earlier in the year, but like you said, he's due. Skull takes off, pitches inside, throwdown's a good one, but it's late, and it's a stolen base for Jake Skull. 4 for 4 in the stolen base department this season for Skull, and he's in scoring position now with 2 down. Well, you've had the privilege of watching Darryl for a lot of years now. I mean, Josh and I have just been here to see him play this year, but I mean, it is fun to watch him hit.
He's delivered so many big hits over the years, Mike. Just so many important hits for the Aces.
1-1, sends one out to second. That should end the inning. Warner over to Monaroa, and the inning is over. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 man left in scoring position. Aces go quietly in the 6th. And we are through 6 full. A 3-0 Canberra lead as we get set for play in the top of the 7th. Josh will take my place in the booth, and Ed will stick around for another frame. We'll head to the 7th after this on Aces TV.
Aussie gardeners are best served by Aussie tools, built specifically for our unique environment and conditions. Back in the 1890s, Leonard Chambers and William Thompson started a beekeeping supply business in Melbourne. Little would they know that their company would go on to change how Australians garden for well over a century. Cyclone is ingrained into our country's history and our way of life. Our tools are long-lasting and purpose-built for hard work.
We've been making quality tools for over a century.
They last that long, you can hand them down to the next generation.
Good, quality, honest product that the Australian people have grown to love.
It's not an Aussie shed without a cyclone.
My biggest takeaway of being here for 34 years is just sense of pride in the product.
Australians buy good products. So if they keep on buying, we keep on making, so we're here.
Cyclone tools, made for Australians.
When enjoying a punt, easy does it with Punt 1, 2, 3. Punt123.bet is your home for all your punting needs with same race multis and same game multi options, including daily promotions on all the major sporting and racing events. It's punting made easy. Get in the game with Punt123. Visit punt123.bet or download the app today. Gamble responsibly. If gambling becomes an issue for you, call 1-800-858-858.
The sun's starting to set here at Melbourne Ballpark. Another beautiful day for baseball, but the Aces unable to put a run across thus far in a 3-0 game. Josh Sperber joining Ed Wyatt here as we have our first pitching change brought to you by Punt123. Matt Beatty will make his Aces debut. Guy who has played in the Tigers system and that has unfortunately suffered a couple of injuries this year. Excited to see him getting on the mound for the first time this year.
Yeah, it certainly is. Good to see you, Josh. Absolutely. And his job right now, keep it limited to 3 runs. Somehow the Aces need to get those bats singing at some point.
First pitch is a strike to Giovanni Garbella, so a good start by Beatty. Coming in after a solid outing by Brian Flynn, but he just fell victim to the long ball. 0-1 the count. And that is a soggy liner out to left field. Drops into the glove of Robson for out number 1.
Yeah, Brian Flynn, as he mentioned, 3 runs and there's 2 bombs, 8 strikeouts, only 2 walks.
And not the first time we've seen 8 strikeouts from Flynn. He becomes the second ABL pitcher this season to break the 40K mark behind former ace Gunnar Kynes, and he's done it in a game shorter than just about everyone else. First pitch to McKenzie, hits it the other way. Skoll in front of the warning track makes the catch. 2 quick outs for Matt Beatty. A nice start for the young right-hander.
Yeah, that's how you want to get started, isn't it? 2 quick flyouts, just like that.
And you go back to Flynn's strikeout numbers, it's really coming into play with the first 3 games. He had 7, 9, and 7 strikeouts in his first 3 games of the season. And 8 strikeouts, not even your season high through 6 starts, is something else.
Yeah, it really is pretty remarkable. All the more unfortunate to give up those 2 home runs.
And now Cole Roederer will face a right-hander for the first time today as Beatty kicks and deals. Catching the outside corner for a called strike on the breaking ball.
Recovered from last night, yeah?
No.
Bizarre game.
We're just going to have a short memory and pretend like that game didn't happen.
That's right. Be a goldfish.
Already there. 0-1. Roederer lets it go, but it catches the inside corner, and it's 0-2. Beatty, a 3-pitch pitcher. 4-seamer, a slider, and a change. 6'3", 225 pounds. Another Melbourne native playing for the Aces. As really the center of baseball here in Victoria, they do retain the local talent quite well. 0-2. Just missing outside. A hard fastball from Beatty there, and Roederer stays alive.
Yeah, it wasn't going to get that call. Close.
So a 1-2 to Roederer. Played on the Southern League runners-up Tennessee Smokies. Double-A for the Cubs this past year. Beatty deals. Just missing outside, and the count runs even.
Love those minor league names. Just so good.
Well, not as fun minor league names for Matt Beatty. Just the Lakeland Tigers and the GCL Tigers.
That's boring.
Did not play in Detroit's system back in 2022. 2-2. That is launched high in the air, deep into right center field. Skoll's on the track. He looks up and watches it go. Thought for a second the ballpark was going to keep that in, but Cole Roederer gets on the home run train. His 3rd blast of the season, and it's 4-0 Canberra.
That was hit hard. That was hit very hard. Last night we saw balls stopped by the wind. Not so tonight. That flew over the right center field fence.
Last night in extra innings, he had a high, hard-hit ball that tailed foul down the right field line. I was actually talking to Cole before the game about it, and he was really upset because he knew he hit that well, just the wind kind of took it.
Yep.
This one, not so much the case.
And some great scenes there of the Canberra dugout. They came in struggling as well, so they're pretty fired up at the moment after last night's win and leading tonight.
1-0, sprayed foul, count 1-1. Cam Warner at the plate. He switched from third to second base last night after Kimorley was taken off in favor of Boss Monaroa in extra innings. Warner 0 for 3 in the 3-hole tonight. Here's the 1-1. Hard line drive right at the shortstop. Dale almost made a web gem. The ball bounces out of his glove, and it's a single with 2 outs for Cam Warner.
Thought Dale had that just over his glove. We'll get a look at it here on the replay.
And it looked like that Robbie Perkins play in the 6th inning. A hard line drive just bounced right out of the glove. Another close call on a tough line drive. And now, speaking of the devil, Robbie Perkins will come up with 2 outs. First pitch, a fastball, misses outside.
3 for 5 last night, 1 for 2 with a walk tonight. So he's seen it pretty well.
So the 1-0 count from Beattie to the newest 300-game man. Perkins playing his 300th game all with Canberra as it's 2-0.
Yeah, the league's full of guys like this, just great servants of Australian baseball.
And Boss Monaroa should be the next guy to break the 300-game barrier. He's at 296 tonight.
There we go.
He'll likely do it in Auckland next week. 2-1 now to Perkins. 2 gone in a 4-0 game here in the 7th. 2-1 pitch. Runner goes, fouled off, and back to first will go Cam Warner. Bud Beattie on to the last strike of the inning.
Much more pleasant night at the park tonight. That wind was a little ferocious last night. Very nice today.
And you can see the sunset over the right field wall. And I got to say, there are a few better views than that here at Melbourne Ballpark. 2-2, runner goes again, waving a whiff, strike 3. Matt Beattie gets his first punch out of the season to punctuate the 7th inning. But the damage still done. A run on 2 hits, a runner left for Canberra. And the Aces have some work to do after we stretch here at Melbourne Ballpark.
Sitting down. If you're an Aces fan, now's the time to stand up, stretch it out. Maverick and the Aces dancers, you ready? Check. Are we ready? The All-Star Bar and Cyclone Toolshed. Check. Juniors from Sandringham, are you on your feet?
For over 45 years, Hobson's Bay Dental has delivered the best results through continually updating their skills and technology. Dr. Andrews and his team also take great pride in treating patients like family. Melbourne Aces players trust their teeth to Hobson's Bay Dental, and you should too. Business Network International is flourishing across Melbourne's West and Geelong. Local businesses, including the Aces, join BNI for professional development, networking opportunities, and to increase business prospects. Find your local BNI chapter to tap a wealth of resources and join a winning team. New Era Technology provides specialized IT solutions for your business around internet and voice communications, managed services, as well as a secure cloud hosting for data and software. Trusted by the Aces, New Era has an extensive team of engineers and sales professionals who provide hands-on collaboration that is backed by deep industry training. Despite the 4-0 deficit, a rowdy crowd here at Melbourne Aces Ballpark. 4-0 to score, 3 home runs for the Canberra Cavalry make the difference. And we have a new pitcher for the first time tonight. It is Yuhi Sako, an import, making his first start of the series, or his first relief appearance of the series. So 3 home runs, 2 solo, and 1 2-run shot make the difference. And now Jacob Robson will lead a contingent of Aces who are trying to change that against the right-hander. The pitch. He lets it go, and it's a called ball one.
Yeah, well, not much luck against Nick Belzer, so potentially an opportunity here with the new pitcher, Sacco. He's got a nice, interesting little hesitation move. You can watch a little hitch there with his leg.
Yui Sacco, a Japanese import, still yet to throw a strike in his ABL debut. We had a couple of Japanese imports absolutely shine for the Aces in Kyuta Kazama and Mizuki Miura, but they have gone back to Japan where they'll play in the Japanese Baseball League.
That's always a problem, isn't it? They come over here and we're like, yeah, these guys are great, and then, they have to go home now.
Yeah, we certainly missed those two absolute studs for the Aces. And Sacco looking to continue the shutout, but on another 4-pitch at bat, Jacob Robson will head to first base. He stole second in the fourth on that last 4-pitch walk, so we could see him potentially look for his 7th stolen base.
Yeah, and if you're Keith Ward, the manager of the Canberra Cavalry, that's not what you want. You bring a relief pitcher in here, you don't want him to put the leadoff runner on with a walk.
I was with the Bowling Green Hot Rods last year, and I know I've said it on this broadcast before. The Hot Rods pitching coach, Alberto Bastardo, was steadfastly against the leadoff walk, as it's ball 5 from Sacco, but it's blocked by Perkins to keep Robson on first base.
Yep.
And he would always say that could be the rally starter. That is, you don't want to give a free base to lead off an inning.
Yep.
And the Aces have that advantage. For the first time, they have a leadoff base runner and a base runner without 2 outs in the inning. So Jared Dale takes ball 2, and Sacco unable to find the strike zone just yet. So Perkins will come out and talk to his new pitcher.
What did you say his name was?
Alberto Bastardo.
Yeah, I'm on Team Bastardo with that.
Oh, as you should be. That guy's the man.
Great name, too.
But Nick Belzer had a great start, in line for the victory. 1 hit allowed, 3 walks, a hit by pitch, and 3 strikeouts. And he's got a 4-0 cushion to keep the Cavalry in front. Perkins will go back behind the plate. Robson will take a lead off of first base, and Dale settles back into the box with a 2-0 count. The pitch. There is strike 1 for Sacco. 2-1 count now to Dale in this at-bat.
See the great Marty Smith down there, a big Sandringham man, a very talented director of photography, does a lot of TV and movies, big Aces fan.
Here's the 2-1. Just missed with a fastball, and it's 3-1.
And of course, his wife, Nicole Livingston, a very famous Olympic swimmer and president of the AFLW, the women's footy league here. So, real power couple, big Aces fans, big baseball people.
Good to have that kind of legacy behind us here. 3-1.
Oh!
And Dale thought it was ball 4. He tossed the bat towards the dugout, but instead he'll return on a full count. Nice. Fans don't like it either.
Bat boy's taking his bat away. He didn't realize he needed it.
The bat boy thought it was ball 4 too.
He did too.
I think I did as well. That was a really close call. But it's a full count for Dale, so we should see Robson going on the pitch. Josh Matavesi behind home plate, as Sacco looks Robson over at first base. Payoff pitch here in the 7th. Robson stays put, but there's ball 4. 2 walks to lead off the 7th. The Aces have a runner in scoring position for the 2nd straight inning, and now Matt O'Neill's going to try and do something with it.
Yeah, well, that's not a great start if you're a Cavalry fan, but this place is full of Aces fans, so it's a good start.
I mean, I like it.
Yes, I do too.
Good. If you didn't like it, I'd probably send you back downstairs, but luckily we don't have to worry about that. So Matt O'Neill's 0 for 1 today. He was the first man walked by starter Nick Belzer as he takes another pitch from Sacco, who is struggling to find the strike zone to the Aces' advantage. 1-0 pitch, cut on and missed. O'Neill found the fastball he wanted, but couldn't catch up to it. Some heat from Yuhi Sacco and evens the count at 1-1.
Big opportunity here for the Aces. They haven't had too many yesterday or tonight.
1-1. That is hit high in the air, but foul. First time now Sacco will be ahead of the count, 1-2. He has thrown 14 pitches now, 4 of them for strikes. And that is why you see 2 good runners on base, with Robson on second, Dale on first.
And there is some action in the Cavalry bullpen as well, Josh.
An insurance arm warming up as the 1-2 misses up and away, and the count's even at 2-2. O'Neill has been a consistent presence in the Aces lineup. Had a night off last night for Ryan Lavarnway's debut. Now the 2-2. Swing and a miss, and there's strike 3. The top of the 7th saw Beatty's first ABL strikeout of the year. Sacco gets his first career K in the Australian Baseball League.
Get a chance at all to speak with Lavarnway at all? Yes, after the inning?
A little bit.
He just landed in that plate.
I'm surprised he could last after catching 12 innings. Coming straight off the plane. As we have a look in the Cavalry bullpen, Reese Nitt is warming up for Canberra. But he's just always a guy in good spirits. And you really see no effect of the jet lag on him at all.
Yeah, right.
George Khalil takes the first pitch for his strike, as Sacco may have gotten what he needed in that strikeout on O'Neill. Just the 4th strikeout of the day for Canberra pitching. The pitch. 0-1. Khalil checked the swing. It is a called strike, but Robson will take advantage of the wild pitch and go to third base. So for the first time today, the Aces have a runner on third, but an 0-2 count to George Khalil. Robson very aggressive on the base pass. As you said, not a lot of chances for Melbourne, but Robson's trying to make some of his own.
Yeah, that's right. Manufacture a run here would be great.
And that's what you get from a former big leaguer, a guy with a very high baseball IQ. 0-2 coming to Khalil. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Second K of the day for Khalil and Sacco. 2 straight strikeouts. Reset the lineup card for the Aces. So 2 gone.
Sorry, Josh, talk about somebody who's due. Aaron Whitefield, absolutely due.
Yeah, he's been aggressive, swinging at the first pitch of all but his last at bat. And he's a guy who has also just caught some bad luck. We've seen him hit the ball very hard, and it's either been taken down by the wind or it's just gone right to someone. A couple of nice plays off of his hits. And you're absolutely right, Ed. He is due.
That's a nice pitch there. Fastball outside corner.
And Sacco definitely reminds me kind of more of a Kazama-style makeup if we're talking about the Japanese imports we've seen at Melbourne Ballpark. Hard fastball seems to be his bread and butter. You see another there for the 0-2.
And he's really settled down a bit after those first 2 walks.
And sometimes you just need 1 out to kind of get you going.
Yep.
The Aces really need 1 hit to get him going. A hit would put them on the board. It's the 0-2 to Whitefield now. Sacco deals. He lets it go. Fastball just a bit too high, and it's 1-2.
Wow. Got to have a good eye to let that go.
And Whitefield certainly does. The former big leaguer himself made his debut with the Twins in 2020. Had a chance to talk with him early in the year. Says that he just tried to soak up the information from Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, guys that he plays with in the Angel system now. Swing and a miss. There's strike 3. So 2 walks start off the inning. 3 strikeouts finish it for Yuhi Sacco. And the Aces are through 7th inning still without a run scored. Canberra leads 4-0. Thanks for joining us, Ed.
Thanks for having me, Josh.
We'll see a lot more of Ed Wyatt, but we'll have Mike Marcantonini join me in the 8th inning next on Aces TV.
At the Sporting Globe, we're a little different to other pubs and bars. We have more than just cooks, we have chefs. We have more than bar service, we have table service. We have more than specials, we have specialties. We have more than live sporting events, we have atmosphere. And we have more than customers, we have fans. It's more than a sports bar, it's a Sporting Globe.
Light and Easy's award-winning healthy meal delivery service features over 235 delicious breakfasts, lunches and dinners for everyone to enjoy. From those who want to lose weight to those who want to gain more free time. From those who want to be a little healthier to those a little older who want to age well. There's no shopping or cooking and there's no contracts or subscriptions. Just your choice of affordable, ready-to-eat meals delivered to your door when you need them. Visit lightandeasy.com.au today.
Another beautiful day here at Melbourne Ballpark. And a new pitcher coming on for the Aces. Cam Gibbons will replace Matt Beattie, making his third appearance at Melbourne Ballpark. Beattie, the only run let up on a Cole Roeder solo home run. And Gibbons will come in trying to keep this game at 4-0. Tillman Pugh, Boss Monaroa, and Kyle Perkins, the due up for Canberra, as Mike Marcantonini will join me here for the 8th. First pitch from Gibbons is at the head of Pugh. And Pugh says to hit him on the shoulder. He's looking ahead to first base, and he will. He's going to toss the guards back to the dugout as we get a replay.
Yeah, that's scary. You know, anything up and in, and obviously not intentional right there. Fastball just got away, and it did get him in the shoulder there. And lucky for him, he got the shoulder up and to protect that face.
And that looked like the ball that hit Jared Dale, just released it really early. And it slipped the grip of Gibbons and a leadoff base runner for the Cavalry. So 1 out and nobody on with one pitch thrown by Gibbons, as the Cavalry lead at 4-0 here in the 8th. Boss Monaroa, 4 games shy of 300 in his ABL career, as Pugh is on first, and it's a 1-0 count to Monaroa now.
Another tough night at the plate for the Aces, and at this point, all you can ask for the relievers is just keep it at a 4-0 game in this situation. Keep it a 4-0 game and see if the bats can get going in the bottom half.
Gibbons deals. Misses upstairs, and it's 2-0.
Good to see Cam back with the team. He was off the roster for round 6 at Geelong, and now he's back out there. Another guy, pretty young, just 27 years old. He's got a live arm, and we know how effective he can be when he can command all of his pitches.
2-0. Off goes Pugh. The pitch misses for a ball. The throw on the money, but a bit too soft, and Pugh will slide into second base safely. 3-0 count now as Pugh swipes another bag for Canberra. Their first stolen base of the day, and just a really good jump, as we can see on the replay here.
You know, Neal came up firing. He got it was a really solid release time from Matt O'Neill behind the plate, but just nothing you can do with as good of a jump as Pugh had.
Third stolen base in 4 attempts for Pugh, now tied with Perkins and Edwards for second on the team, as a get-me-over fastball makes it 3-1 to Monaroa. By the way, that's Robbie Perkins with the 3 stolen bases, not Kyle. Gibbons, the 3-1. High fastball, and the first 2 are on for Canberra with a 5-pitch walk.
Well, control is the one thing that's really holding Cam back from just being electric every time out. I mean, we know he's got the strikeout stuff, and he's got that fastball slider. He's a 2-pitch pitcher, but if he can command those pitches, he can be really good because he throws that upper 90s fastball. It's just a matter of the command.
And Tim Ballard, the pitching coach for Melbourne, coming out to have a chat with Cam Gibbons, a former Dodgers farmhand who was part of a combined no-hitter early in his minor league career. Gibbons, in his 3rd season with the Aces, has struggled with some injuries, particularly this season, but he's coming off of the best year of his pro career. 10 relief appearances for the defending champs, a 1.86 ERA, and a 2.0 record as the Aces won their 2nd title in as many seasons.
Less than a walk per inning in that 2019-2020 season with the Aces. And it's impressive when he's locked in. He's really solid.
He's worked himself into a bit of trouble here. Kyle Perkins dummies the bunt, pulls back as the fastball misses. He's just looking to move the runners. The Cavalry don't need much with a 4-run cushion. 8 hits to Melbourne's 1. 2 strikeouts in his last 2 at-bats for Kyle Perkins, a member of last year's championship team, facing off against his former teammate. Gibbons looks at second, fires home. Perkins bunts it back up the middle. That's going to go right back to Gibbons. Only play to first. He'll have to throw a fastball to get the out, as it's George Khalil covering the first base bag. So make it a sack 1-4 putout. But Pugh advances to third. Boss Monaroa advances to second on the first down.
Nice job by Cam to get off the mound there and make a strong throw over to first, get it there in time. And it was a good bunt by Perkins to put it where Gibbons had to come off the mound to the opposite side and field it and rush the throw. And the Aces at least get 1 out of it.
2 of the taller guys on Melbourne's roster helping with that. Khalil at 6'4", Gibbons tied with Brian Flynn for the tallest player in the league at 6'8". As O'Neill gets that to slip behind him on the breaking ball, and it's a 1-0 count to Chris Quitzer. But Matt O'Neill does a good enough job blocking that to keep the speedy Tillman Pugh at third base. And another former champion with the Melbourne Aces we saw in that last shot, Gifton Gopay, the first baseman and the hitting coach and third base coach for the Cavalry this season. Now the 1-0. That's popped high in the air and foul, 1-1. Infield in for Melbourne with runners on second and third. Cavalry have scored a run with a home run in each of the past 3 innings. Gibbons looking to break that trend. 1-1. That is hit back up the middle and into center for a base hit. Pugh will score easily, and that ball gets behind Whitefield. Monaroa is going to jog home for the second run. Speeding around second into third, standing up, is Chris Quitzer. So that's definitely an RBI single. We might see an E8, but whichever way you slice it, 2 runs come across for Canberra, and they have a 6-0 lead.
I think you're right about that. Should go down as a 2-run single and then an E8 on Whitefield. But just things going from bad to worse for the Aces, and already a 4-0 deficit felt like a 12-0 deficit, and 2 more in there with the infield drawn. And that's a nice piece of hitting by Quitzer, but things just not going the Aces' way.
And you can see on that it looked like the ball just slipped under Whitefield's glove. Those 2 runs still should be earned in charge to Gibbons. But Quitzer on third. Back up the middle to Gibbons. Quitzer stays on third base, and the flip to first is out number 2. So Cam Gibbons fielding the position really well to hold Quitzer on third base. Now 2 away as the lineup card resets for Jake McKenzie.
Tough situation for the Aces right now, and just 1 hit on the board, and Canberra continues to put pressure on, scoring, getting on the board in the 5th inning and then extending that lead. Aces each inning, they've been in it. They just haven't been able to do much offensively, and right now it's just a matter of limiting damage.
And the man who struck first, Jake McKenzie, takes ball 1. He had a solo home run in the 5th to start the scoring for Canberra. 1-0 pitch. Pops high in the air, foul down the first base side, and that's going to go out of play to a densely populated part of the stands. And you have a fan making a catch off the bounce there. So 1-1 the count now to McKenzie, as a fan will go home with a souvenir. So it is officially ruled a single and an E8 for Chris Quitzer. And now that breaking ball miss makes it 2-1 to Jake McKenzie. But the run should still both be earned for Cam Gibbons. In a tough 8th inning here. 2-1. High fastball, and it's 3-1. Action getting started in the Aces bullpen. And that's Jack Enciando, who missed most of the season with injuries, may make a second relief appearance tonight. The slider misses inside, and a 2-out walk to Jake McKenzie puts the runners on the corners for Cole Roederer.
I'll give these Canberra hitters credit for the damage that they've done against tough Aces pitching. I mean, the Cavalry grinded out at-bats against Brian Flynn. They didn't do a ton of damage, and Flynn did strike out 8 over 6 innings of 3-run ball, but a couple of home runs, and to do it, you get the solo shot, the 2-run shot to extend it. I mean, they've done their part offensively and helped out a guy, Nick Belzer, on the mound, who worked 6 shutout innings in the bullpen, getting it done as well.
Now Roederer, who homered in his last at-bat, takes a strike. Fastball hitting there for Cam Gibbons. And, I mean, really it's about supporting your starter, which Cavalry have done tonight. Flynn had a great game aside from the home runs. Really just 2 pitches, and we'd be in a different ballgame. Another stolen base. McKenzie slides in there easily. He leads the team now with 12 stolen bases, and it's a 1-1 count to Roederer. Second swipe of the game and the inning for Canberra, who have scored 4 of 6 runs via the long ball. So not much need for stolen bases for the Cavalry. Roederer slices this the other way. It's going to tail foul past the left field line, and Gibbons a strike away from getting the last out of this inning. 6 runs on 9 hits for Canberra. The Aces' lone hit came back in the first inning, a Robbie Glendinning single. And since then, it's been great pitching for Canberra. Runners on second and third now for the Cavalry. Gibbons sets up for the 1-2. He deals. Roederer hits this deep into center field. Tailing into left center now. Whitefield going back, and that is going to be caught by Robson, who makes a long run and grabs it in front of the warning track. The Aces get a scare late, but 2 runs still come home on a hit and an error for the Cavalry. And Robson ends that with a nice fielding play out in left field. The Aces looking to come back in the bottom half. 6-0 the score here on Aces TV.
One Love is there for the moments with the people you love the most. To share the highs and the lows together. It's the one for all people, all times, and all places. Brick Lane's One Love Pale Ale. It's the one for all.
A beautiful baseball sky here at Melbourne Ballpark. A less beautiful scoreline, though. 6-0, Cavalry in the lead, and an 0-1 count to Chris Burke here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Burke 0 for 3 on the day, looking to turn things around to start this 8th against Yuhi Sacco, who's out for his second inning of work.
He did a good job working through that 7th, in which he walked the first 2, and you're thinking, all right, 4-0, the Aces can put a rally together, mount a comeback, at least score a couple to cut the deficit in half, but weren't able to get anything done as Sacco had the strikeout pitch working.
As that is spanked to first base. Bobbled by Monaroa, but flipped back to Sacco for out number 1. So the Aces still hitless since the first inning, but the man who got that hit is coming up to the plate in Robbie Glendinning.
Yeah, Robbie's hit a couple balls hard tonight. That one in his second at-bat, that sinking liner to right that Garbella made a nice play on. Could have easily been a hit, but still like that Robbie's hitting the ball hard and spraying it to all fields.
And Robbie has been a shining light in this Aces batting order, hitting right around 300, if not over, all season long. He swings and misses at a fastball for strike 1.
We saw an eight-run inning last night from the Cavalry. No reason the Aces can't do something like that tonight, but you got to get somebody on first, and it's all about stringing hits together. I mean, the only time the Aces have had back-to-back men reach base, it's happened twice tonight. It's been hit by pitch, walk, 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 and walks can be rally starters, but you need to mix in some hits there as well, and that hasn't happened, and that's the Aces haven't been able to put that rally together.
Glendinning holds up the swing, and it's 1-2 now. They've left 7 on base, 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position, and that's really been the linchpin for this Aces team. They haven't been able all season. They have had difficulty getting runners home when in scoring position. 1-2. Glendinning sprays this the other way, and that's going to land a long foul past the All-Star ball.
Sacco's got that pause in his delivery. He hangs that leg a little bit longer than most, and that has to throw hitters off.
Kind of that Shohei Ohtani style delivery where he takes that pause. There it is in the 1-2, way outside, and it's 2-2. 2 walks and 3 strikeouts so far for Sacco in his ABL debut, making his first appearance for the Cavalry this year. The 2-2. Another opposite field foul ball by Glendinning to stay alive.
Robbie's fighting here. He really is. It just takes one guy getting on, and then you can start something up. But how about that sunset tonight, Josh? I mean, just looking at the monitor, and I got to remember that I can peek out the window and see it for myself. But that is spectacular.
You can't get enough, and you really have to be here to see how incredibly beautiful that sunset looks. 2-2. Glendinning hits that one into the gap, and that's the first extra base hit of the night. 2 hits on the day for Glendinning as he rounds first into second base. Roeder will get it in, but it's a stand-up double for Robbie Glendinning. Now that could be a rally starter.
Really like that approach from Glendinning. The entire at-bat, he was spoiling pitches on the outer half towards right field, and he, Sacco stayed towards the outer part of the plate, and Glendinning just decided to go with the pitch. We'll take a look at the All-Star Access Higher replay right here. Yeah, just a fastball low and away. Glendinning got the barrel on it and was able to drive it to the opposite field.
A couple fans with the beer bats imitating Robbie Glendinning.
I like it.
One of them with a Jake Skoll jersey, who is at the plate right now. A lot of power at the plate. Sacco allows his first ABL hit. Glendinning has both of them for Melbourne tonight. Fastball right down Main Street for a called strike on Skoll. Skoll has reached base in all 6 of his games at Melbourne Ballpark so far. This is his only game without a hit in his young Aces career here at Melbourne Ballpark. He's looking to change that with a man on second. As that bounces in front of the plate, count 1-1. And Robbie's got enough speed at second base that a base hit to the right part of the ballpark could bring him home.
Oh, no doubt. And right now the Aces you just have to do it piece by piece, 1 run at a time, and put some pressure on this Canberra bullpen.
1-1. Inside on Skoll, and it's 2-1.
I think one thing that's worked against the Aces is the fact that Belzer the starter and Sacco, since he's come in, I mean, they've both been effectively wild. Like, they've been out of the zone quite a bit. And, just because of that, there haven't been as many pitches in the zone to do damage against.
Skoll's looking for one here as Glendinning dances on second. Sacco deals. 2-1, cut on and missed underneath the fastball, and it's 2-2.
So as soon as a guy is ready to hit, or there's a situation where, they can drive somebody in, runner in scoring position, it's just ball outside, ball blown away, ball high and in. And it's tough to get in a rhythm and get locked into hit when guys are missing out of the zone like that. And that's why I say that these two guys out there tonight have been effectively wild.
Great analysis, as always, from Aussie Mike.
I try.
This is certainly one of those situations, though. Runner on second. Skoll hits this one foul, and he's battling here on 2-2.
But it's really rare when the opposition walks 5 and hits a batter that none of those 6 free passes come in to score.
Well, it's a double who Skoll's looking to bring home here, trying to buck that trend. Now a 2-2 count. Aces last night 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position, 0 for 6 thus far tonight. 2-2. Skoll lets it go, and he brings the count to a full count. Glendining's got the oven mitt on. We may see him leave with a full count here. A beautiful backdrop in the Melbourne sky, and a full count for Skoll. Sacco deals. Skoll hammers that foul, and will do it again. Well, we're seeing the aggression, we're seeing the urgency as Skoll continues to fight off Yuhi Sacco.
Definitely seeing the ball well, and that's good to see. And, Glendinning wore out Sacco in the previous AB. We'll see if the same result happens here and Skoll can find a gap.
And Skoll, 5 of his 13 hits this season have gone for extra bases. A good chunk of those here at Melbourne Ballpark. Looking for another one here. Payoff again. Skoll hits that one high into the air, deep out to right center field. In front of the track is Roederer, and it's Garbella who cuts in front of him to make the catch. A great throw, but not enough to get Robbie Glendinning as he advances to third. So Skoll got just about almost all of that one.
Got barrel. He's got some of the barrel on it at least, and the ball off the bat, it looked like it was going to travel a little bit farther. We'll take a look at this replay. That's a great view right there, and pitch in the middle of the zone, middle in, and Skoll. I think Skoll might have thought he had it, and to tell you the truth, I thought it was at least going to get to the warning track. The ball just died out there.
Yeah. And out from the dugout comes Keith Ward, and Yuhi Sacco will end his ABL debut here. He leaves with 2 outs, 3 strikeouts, and 2 walks, but the runner on third base is his responsibility. It's a punt 1-2-3 pitching change here at Melbourne Ballpark, and we'll take a quick break before we tell you who comes in from the left field bullpen.
When enjoying a punt, easy does it with Punt 123. Punt123.bet is your home for all your punting needs with same race multis and same game multi options, including daily promotions on all the major sporting and racing events. It's punting made easy. Get in the game with Punt123. Visit punt123.bet or download the app today. Gamble responsibly. If gambling becomes an issue for you, call 1-800-858-858.
Order your favourite meals from Light and Easy's new spring menu and enjoy amazing food, more free time and a healthier life. No shopping or cooking and no contracts or subscriptions. Just your choice of affordable, delicious meals delivered to your door. Order today.
A right-hander comes in for the Canberra Cavalry. He's got a 6-run cushion, and it's Reese Nitt who replaces the ABL debutant in Yuhi Sacco. But he's got a big lead for Canberra. Nitt, making his 8th appearance of the season, comes in with a record of 1-3. 4 starts, now 4 relief appearances, 21 innings, 29 hits allowed, 18 earned runs, 6 homers, 6 walks, and 14 strikeouts.
Yeah, impressive numbers there, and right now it's not a situation where they necessarily needed to go to the bullpen. A 6-0 game, and that runner on third doesn't mean a whole lot right now. But, Canberra, they're not taking any chances here. You go to a fresh arm in a situation with 2 outs and a big hitter at the dish.
It's a run that would mean a lot more to the Aces than it would to the Cavalry. This is do or die time, crunch time for the Aces. However you want to slice it, they need to bring Robbie Glendinning to give them just a little bit more room, a little bit less of a deficit to work with in the ninth.
And that's all it is. Using a football analogy here, when late in the game you're down and you got 3rd and 10, it's 4-down territory. You don't need to get all 10 right there on 3rd down. You try to get 6 or 7 and then make 4th down more manageable. Right now the Aces looking to get 2 or 3 and make that 9th inning comeback more manageable.
The first pitch slider misses to Darryl George, who Ed talked about when he was on the horn with you here, that Darryl George has been a guy who has many big hits in his Aces career. Looking for another one here. Nitt from the stretch deals. Fastball right over the heart of the plate, and it's 1-1. George 0 for 3 tonight, a fly out and 2 ground outs. But he's had a couple of big hits. He had a double and a home run in his first game of the season here at Melbourne Ballpark. 1-1. That is hit right to the shortstop in McKenzie. He'll shuffle to first and end the inning with a 6-3 putout. The shutout continues for Canberra. The Aces trying to hold their ground. 6-0 the score heading into the ninth. Aussie Mike will get back on the play-by-play duties to finish this one off. Stick with us here on Aces TV.
For over 40 years, All Green Nursery has been providing the communities of Melbourne's western and northern suburbs the best advice and results for their gardens. Our retail centre, indoor plant space and expansive nursery floor showcases over 150 varieties of vibrant plants, most of them grown locally right here in Werribee South. We have qualified horticulturists on site to help assist with all your gardening needs, and our home decor section is stocked with a full range of quality options. All Green Nursery, your local plant nursery and garden centre. Visit our sites in Hoppers Crossing and Epping. All-Star Access Hire are your access equipment specialists. We have an extensive range of state-of-the-art equipment and we pride ourselves on delivering outstanding customer service. We have the youngest fleet of equipment in Victoria and we are consistently adding new machines. We get to know our customers and form partnerships with them. This video is of our partnership with the Victorian Government at Reservoir Station. All-Star Access Hire are proud sponsors of the Melbourne Aces and our All-Star Bar.
Top of the ninth inning from Melbourne Ballpark. Aussie Mike and Josh Sperber bringing you the action. It's all Canberra tonight. 6-0 Cavalry over the Aces. Cavalry with 9 hits, the Aces with just 2. Robbie Glendinning has both of them. A first inning single and an 8th inning double to right center for Glendinning. That's it. Great crowd on hand tonight for what has been a really awesome night at the ballpark. Great weather, good vibes, and we're having some fun up here. Aces looking to keep it a 6-0 game and do some damage in the bottom of the ninth to keep it going. New pitcher into the game for Melbourne. It's right-hander Jack Enciando on this punt123.bet pitching change. This is Enciando's 4th game of the season. He's 1-0 with a 2.25 ERA, 4 innings of work, including an inning last night. 3 strikeouts, 2 walks in limited time this season. Enciando got the final 3 outs, or all 3 outs of the 12th last night. Came on after Jeremy Young couldn't work his way through that top of the 12th. He was the last pitcher of the night for the Aces, was Enciando, and he's back out there again. And it's good to see a guy like Enciando who hasn't pitched a ton this year. It's good to see him out there back-to-back nights. Here's his 2-0, make it 3-0.
Yeah, Moylan's really had a couple of guys that he's used a lot more consistently in relief. Enciando's been out with injuries. So late in the game, not a high leverage situation. It's the time to get younger guys like Enciando who just need more work out there. And he's a guy with a lot of talent. A really hard fastball is his main pitch. And it's his time to just get his legs back under him and get some reps.
A loss tonight would mean 5 straight for the Aces. Their longest losing streak of the season was 6 games, a streak they snapped with a walk-off win in round 4 against Brisbane. But Canberra in control tonight. Cavalry came into this series struggling as well, but if they finish off this one tonight and put another one in the win column, they'll earn at least a series split. The Aces will have some work to do. They already have some work to do in the 9th. It's Robson, Dale, O'Neill, 6, 7, 8 due up for Melbourne in the bottom of the 9th. Enciando looking to keep it a 6-run game. Ground ball to second could be 2. Khalil pivots, throws, and it's wide. This one will go all the way to the wall down the left field line. And the leadoff man, Warner, who reached on a walk, comes in to score. Well, that should go down as an E4 on George Khalil, and it ends up being essentially a 3-base error. So the batter, Perkins, gets to second. And that's just a wild throw where, I mean, nobody would have been in position to back that up anyway. And just because of the where it was, and both Glendinning and Robson had a long way to go for it, it leads to another Canberra run.
And we've seen Khalil make that play time and time again. And the errors just keep piling up for Melbourne.
Here's Tillman Pugh. He homered just to the right of center field his 3rd time up. He was 0 for 2 with a couple groundouts, and then a 2-run homer in the 6th. He was hit by a pitch, stole a bag, and scored a run in the 8th. All 7 Canberra runs have come since the 5th inning. Good breaking ball from Enciando. So a walk and an E4 to start the 9th. The ball Pugh hit to right field, or excuse me, to the right of center field, was absolutely crushed. He stung it off the bat. 3 home runs tonight for the Cavalry. The solo shot from Jake McKenzie to open the scoring in the 5th. Pugh's 2-run shot in the 6th, and then Cole Roederer made it 3 straight innings with a home run for the Cavalry with a solo shot of his own in the 7th. And then 2 more in the 8th, 1 here in the 9th so far. Well, last night's game was a lot closer than the final score will lead you to believe. An 8-1 final, but the game was scoreless through 11. Tonight, we were scoreless into the 5th. Brian Flynn was cruising when McKenzie hit the homer. Flynn ended up going 6 innings, giving up 3 runs. He did strike out 8. Limited the walks. Matt Beattie, an inning of work. In his season debut, gave up a run. He gave up the home run to Roederer, and then Gibbons gave up 2 in an inning of work. Here's Enciando, now the 4th pitcher of the night. Fastball misses high. It's 2-2. We've had great crowds on hand here at the ballpark each of the last 2 nights. Tomorrow should be some of the same. New Year's Eve at Melbourne Ballpark. Sounds pretty good to me. If you're looking to come out to the ballpark and catch a game, first pitch at 7 p.m., you can head on over to melbourneaces.com.au. You can just walk up to our box office and grab some tickets there. Why not start your New Year's Eve here at the ballpark and keep the festivities going elsewhere after, but started up here at the ball yard. Ground ball out to short. We'll see if they score that a single or an error. Tough play for Dale in the hole. But Pugh is aboard.
Yeah, I think that should be considered a hit. Deep in the infield, almost on the cut of the grass. Not an easy play for Dale to make, going across his body. That's just a ball not hit well, but placed well.
We'll see if the Aces can roll 3 here. No outs in the inning, runners at first and second. Well, Matt O'Neill back to the mound after a chat with Enciando. And we've got a pinch.
That's going to be ruled a hit by Tillman Pugh. So his second hit of the day. He's reached base now in 3 straight at-bats.
We got Boss Monteroa at the dish. Monteroa 0 for 3, walked and scored his last time up. First pitch from Enciando. Breaking ball misses a little high. Looked pretty good. Here's the next one from Jack. That breaking ball's over, and that's a good-looking curveball from him there.
I was about to say his curve has looked especially nasty. I love those 12-6 drops where they start off high. It looks like it's going to miss the zone by a mile, and then at the last second settles right into the strike zone.
Popped up right side, but that one into the seats. Somebody's going to get a souvenir. Nice grab by a fan. Wow. Really impressive grab. He went up for it. He got it. And everybody around him showing him some love.
I think that's the defensive play of the day. That's a certified web gem.
I'm with you on that. If I had my hat on, I'd tip my cap to the young man over there. That's a nice play. Got the baseball and showing it around. You know, if we were on network TV, he'd be getting a ton of texts right now. Hey, I saw you on TV. You know, he'd be all over Twitter.
You can still
could be.
Yeah. Definitely appreciate you guys sticking with us on Aces TV all year.
Another breaking ball from Enciando, and steady diet of those to Monteroa here. I will take a look at this replay because why not? I mean, Monteroa skies this one up in the air. So the boss man put one in the air, and the boss man in the stands made the grab. Look at that. That's textbook right there. Good fundamental. Good fundamentals right there.
I think we know who the bigger boss is, and it's not the guy at the plate.
Like a boss. One's fouled off. Count remains 1-2.
Well, the other boss, and I mean Boss Monteroa, is fighting off Enciando pretty well. I think that guy's still recounting his tale of triumph to his friends in the stands over there.
You got to recap it there.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, look, that's bragging rights within the friend group right there. Hey, I made that catch. Hey, 5 years from now, hey, remember that catch I made at the ballpark?
10 years, 30 years, we can keep going.
10 years from now when he's slugging a beer bat here at the stadium, he'll be like, hey, you remember that time I made that grab?
Hey, he might be in the outfield making grabs like that. You don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't know.
Or at first base.
I'm just trying to get our beer bat sales up. You see what I'm doing there?
Oh, yeah.
See some fans over there at the on that party deck enjoying some popcorn. I'll be honest. I've only had the popcorn here once at Melbourne Ballpark, but it is literally some of the best popcorn I've ever had. I don't know what they do to it, but the perfect amount of salt. It's got that that good butter taste. I mean, elite popcorn here at Melbourne Ballpark.
They make it with love.
I think you're right. That might be it. It might be that secret touch. Good slider from Enciando. I mean, he's got that curveball slider combo working.
His breaking stuff has looked the best I've seen it from Enciando. A short sample size because of the injuries, but really good breaking pitches tonight.
Seven runs on 10 hits, no errors for the Cavalry. No runs on 2 hits and 2 errors for the Aces. Enciando, the pitch on the outer half is over for a strike. It's 1-2. How about an inning-ending double play ball right here?
Yeah, I think Khalil needs his redemption. I'd like to see Perkins ground this one a second and Khalil make a nice turn. Yeah, Kyle Perkins didn't go around on that pitch, but that was on the outside corner anyway. Beautiful breaker.
Another one on the outer half. That one was close, but it missed. 2-2.
Enciando looking for that swinging strikeout. Trying to get a big momentum shift for the Aces, who need it all tonight.
2-2, he went around. Tied him up inside. And Enciando has out number 2 here in the ninth.
Yeah, absolutely fooled Kyle Perkins there. High and tight on the fastball after a lot of breaking balls, and Perkins could not stop himself. It looked good, but it had some nice tail inward on the right-handed batter.
Here's Chris Quitzer, the 8-hole hitter. Couple singles with a strikeout and a pop-out sandwiched in between. He's 2 for 4. He had the first hit of the game for the Cavalry last night. A game in which Cody Mincy went 6 shutout innings to lower his season ERA to 2.41. Brian Flynn lowered his ERA tonight, 6 innings of 3-run ball and 8 strikeouts. But he's on the losing end right now. Tough night offensively for the Aces. And innings 5 through 9 have been tough on the pitching side as well. The Cavalry have scored in each of the last 5 frames. 1 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, 1 more in the 7th, 2 more in the 8th, and for good measure, another 1 in the 9th. But to score in 5 straight innings is impressive. Fly ball deep left center field. Whitefield on his horse, ranging back. That ball's off the top of the wall. 2 runs coming in. Robson picks it up, gets it back in. It's a 2-run double for Chris Quitzer. It's a 9-0 Canberra lead.
That's just a really well-hit ball. There was a chance that one was going out. But the Cavalry, after being shut out in the first 4 innings, have really found their stroke. Runs in each of the last 5.
Yeah, and 3 multi-run innings, impressive there as well. Tough night for the Aces bullpen. Over the last 4 innings, the Cavalry have put 6 runs on the board against 3 Aces relievers. And then the 9-hole hitter Garbella chops 1 foul. Be interesting to see who the Aces go with on the bump tomorrow night. Cody Mincy, game 1. Brian Flynn tonight in game 2. 2 of the guys who started games in round 6 against Geelong Korea before the holiday break, Kyuta Kazama and Mizuki Miyuta, no longer with the team. They are both back in Japan, and we knew at the beginning of the season that they were only going to be with the team through round 6. But, you know, anybody's guess is as good as ours with who's going to start these next couple games, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, going into the series, I thought it was going to be John Kennedy because he has the most starting experience on the Aces of the guys that are healthy since McGraw is down with that injury he suffered back against Brisbane. But he pitched, and it's still 1 inning. Like, he could still technically go. I think it's going to be a lefty. It's down to either Kennedy or the former Cavalry player in Steve Kemp.
Yeah, I think we could see Jack Fox start one of the 2 games as well. Moylan hasn't used Jack either last night or tonight. And there were some situations where you figured he could have come in the game with the game close. But Moylan chose not to use him, and Jack's been a starter throughout his professional career and collegiate career. So we'll see. Enciano picks up a strikeout to get out of the inning, but the Cavalry score 3 more times. It's a 9-0 game. We head to the bottom of the 9th. Aces with some work to do. Keep it locked right here on Aces TV. Aces need 9 to keep it going. 9-0 Canberra as we open up play in the bottom of the 9th inning. The Cavalry got a really good start from Nick Belzer, who went 6 shutout innings, gave up just 1 hit, struck out 3, and worked around 3 walks. Yuhi Sako, in his debut for the Cavalry, worked an inning and 2/3 scoreless. Reese Nitt came on and stranded a runner on base and got the final out of the 8th. And now a new pitcher for Canberra here in the bottom of the 9th. They go with right-hander Dean Aldridge on this punt 1-2-3 pitching change. As the Cavalry look to put the finishing touches on a shutout, the Aces will look to spoil the shutout. Well, Melbourne went scoreless through 11 innings last night. They got a run with 2 outs in the bottom of the 12th last night. And we'll see, Josh, at this point if they can break the shutout and see if they've got an all-world inning in them.
Yeah, I mean, they showed resiliency last night. Always difficult to get runs late in a game where the opposing team has poured it on. After that 8-run inning last night, the Aces still came out fighting and got themselves on the scoreboard. I'd like to see them do that again.
Well, the first pitch of the inning to Robson is down, or fouled off. Well, it all starts with the leadoff man, Josh. If Robson gets on, you just never know. And he slaps one to the left side. Tough play for Quitzer, and he'll just eat it. So an infield single for Jacob Robson. He's reached safely 3 times tonight, 2 walks, and now his first hit. It's the 3rd hit of the game for the Aces, and they do indeed get that leadoff man on.
And Robson is just doing everything in his power to keep the Aces relevant in this ball game. Great speed out of the box after a nice hit just to get himself on, and he's reached base each of his last 3 times.
So here's Jared Dale looking to keep it going. A 2-hit night for Jared last night, a single and a double. And tonight he's reached on a hit by a pitch and a walk. So Robson and Dale have combined to reach 5 times tonight. O'Neill and Khalil to follow. Well, if it gets to Khalil's spot in the order, it looks like we'll have a pinch hitter. Nick Bertucci has a helmet on and a bat. He's standing at the step of the dugout behind Matt O'Neill. Right now it's Dale, though, 1-1 the count. Next pitch from Aldridge. Good breaking ball there, but looked like it missed, and it's 2-1. Well, Josh, tomorrow night we got a 7 p.m. first pitch here again for Game 3 of the series. And how hype are you to call a baseball game on New Year's Eve? You ever think you'd be doing that?
No, and it's something that, honestly, I was looking forward to as soon as I saw the schedule coming out. I love New Year's Eve.
Dale sends one off the end of the bat into left. It's down in front of Pugh. Back-to-back hits for the Aces, and you just never know here.
And the Aces certainly needed this earlier in the ball game, but you like to see this. Again, it's the resiliency of this team that a lot of teams you'd see a 9-0 deficit and they would just, go quietly into the night, but that's not what the Aces do. They're keeping themselves alive, and Dale got a good piece of the hitting there.
So here's O'Neill with 2 on and no outs. And I knew you were a big New Year's guy. You've been talking about it a lot lately. Like that's New Year's is your holiday. Big. So yeah, getting to call a baseball game on New Year's Eve. I mean, I'm excited about it. Again, I didn't think I'd ever be doing something like that. Pretty wild to think about.
Yeah, in America, baseball is very much not going on in the dead of what is the winter there, but one of my favorite holidays with some baseball, not much better of a combination.
Here's the 0-1 to O'Neill. Gets by the catcher Perkins. Both runners move up, 2nd and 3rd now.
I don't know if we call that a pass ball or a wild pitch because that one popped right out of the glove of Robbie Perkins. But either way, you put 2 runners in scoring positions for Melbourne. This is what you like to see.
Perkins probably should have had that one.
And it seems like it's going to be a pass ball, according to Tony Skibecki, our PA announcer / video board manager extraordinaire.
O'Neill takes a big cut on 1-1. He comes up empty. It's 1-2 now. So the Aces at least have a chance to break the shutout here. But a chance to do more than that. O'Neill ready to go. 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Fastball low and away, that missed.
Yeah, 2 runners in scoring position with nobody out. You know, long deficit or not, this is what you want to see.
Next one misses outside as well, 3-2, and you know, one more outside the zone, and the bases will be loaded for Nick Bertucci.
I like the approach of O'Neill. He's not trying to do too much. He's just waiting for his pitch, and if not, he'll get a free base.
And he does get a free base. Ball 4. O'Neill works his way back from down to the count 1-2, and he sees the next 3 outside the zone.
And this is where the fans can come into play. You can hear them kind of stirring in the background here as we have bases loaded. No one's out here in Melbourne Ballpark, and this is where Aldridge has struggled. Not a whole lot of experience this year. 7, now 8 relief appearances. 10 earned runs of 12 total, 11 hits in just 6 innings. So he has really been taken for a ride a couple times this season, and the Aces looking to continue that.
Just the 5th game of the season for Bertucci. He's 3 for 14, a couple doubles. Both of those came in the same game in Adelaide. Had a single in his ABL debut here back on November 11th. He's also scored a run, average at .214 through the first 4 games of his professional career. Just 18 years old. He's played internationally for the U16 and 18 Australia teams. He's going to head to Arizona to play college ball this spring.
For one of the top junior colleges in the United States, Central Arizona.
1-0, make it 2-0. Here's a guy who's getting a chance to play professional baseball before collegiate baseball.
Yeah. And there's something to be said for that. He's been with Melbourne, been in the development program for the Aces for the past couple of years, had some experience in the Melbourne Challenge last year, and now he'll go to a junior college team that has taken 2 of the past 3 junior college national championships.
You're looking to add a ring to his finger there. 2-1 after a big cut on 2-1. This is a good cut by Bertucci, 2-0. Knew he was getting fastball.
Experience, power approach, a little bit of a Gary Sheffield hitch at the start of his batting stance there.
I like that comparison. I can see that. Another rip at a fastball. It's 2-2.
Hey, I used to imitate Chef back in the day all the time, although I couldn't really hit the ball.
But when you were imitating him, you know, you were pretending like you were hitting it.
Oh, I felt like I could hit it out of the park for sure.
Bertucci continues to waggle the bat. Here's the 2-2. That's outside the zone. Counts full. So was that the main guy that you'd imitate when you do a batting stance? Was it Chef?
A Jeter, too.
Okay.
And just to be funny, Craig Counsell, because he still has one of the strangest batting stances I've ever seen.
Don't know how that dude ever hit.
Oh, but he did.
It's wild. 3-2, swing and a miss. Fastball up. Out number 1 here in the 9th. I guess I never had a guy whose entire stance I imitated, but, you know, being a right-handed hitter, it didn't completely, you know, I couldn't completely do it the way he did it, but I like the way that Ryan Howard went up to the plate and set up. I would always tap both corners of the front of the plate and kind of hold the bat out in front of me like he did. Now, of course, Howard a lefty and I hit righty, but, you know, that was the one guy, I guess if you call that, you know, imitating a stance or at least part of it. That's the guy that I would emulate. Here's Aaron Whitefield looking for his first hit of the night. He's 0 for 4.
I had some Alfonso Soriano in my swing, too, because he's also kind of a lanky guy. Well,
yeah.
I was a lot shorter, but he'd always drive his front hip back and try and explode out of that back leg, and that's how I tried to hit.
Whitefield gets his first knock of the night, and the Aces have their first run of the night. An RBI single, Robson's in to score, and Whitefield breaks up the shutout.
Well, we've been saying all night that he is due, and that's a good start. We've seen him hit the ball a lot harder than that, but he got really good one on that baseball. He did what he needed to do. Off the end of the bat, just wrapped it right into left field, and that's a good start.
Everybody moves up a base. Robson in to score, Dale to third, and O'Neill to second. Whitefield at first now. Bases remain loaded. Here's Chris Burke. First pitch to Chris, almost got him. He found a way to get out of the way. I don't know how he did it. Some acrobatics there from Burke. Seems like he's all right, but take a look at that replay. You know, down around the legs. He somehow missed him.
That looked really close to skimming that right leg, that right shin particularly. That was right around that big red shin guard he's got on. And I think a bit longer backstop would have advanced the runners.
There's that saying in baseball, let it hit you. Well, that was not one of those cases. Nobody's taking one in the leg like that. Swing and a miss. You get one that's kind of up and in, and it looks like it's about to graze your jersey. You back away. Everybody from the dugout's like, let it hit you. We got ice. That's not one where ice would have helped.
No,
he would have been down.
That would have cracked the shin guard.
Yeah. So lucky for Chris, he gets out of the way. 1-1 popped up out of play. Well, the Aces, in their final at-bat of the night, break up the shutout for the second night in a row. Last night they trailed 8-0 going into the bottom of the 12th. Tonight, 9-0 into the bottom of the 9th. Now it's 9-1. Aces with 5 hits on the board. Next one, Burke checks one foul, and he stays alive.
And the Aces just need to keep getting hit. So you got the bases loaded, 1 out. Just put the ball in the outfield. That's all you need. I'd like to see one down that left field line where you have the third baseman and Chris Quitzer shifted over a bit toward shortstop in double play territory.
Burke working the count. He's got it even at 2-2 now.
And honestly, take walks as well. We talked about Sacco and Belzer being effectively wild. Aldridge is just wild. The Aces need to take advantage of that with the bases loaded here. Put runs across any way you can.
Base runner's the most important thing right now. The Aces have their final 2 outs left to play with. 2-2 was close, but it missed.
Really good eye from Chris Burke. Look how close this was. Ooh, yeah. Just below the knees.
Might have got away with one.
Yeah.
There.
That tailed back. I think it was over the plate. A good frame job by Robbie Perkins, but that was definitely a little bit low.
Next one misses upstairs. Ball 4, and another run comes in. Well, somebody from the Canberra dugout just signaled down to the pen to get somebody loose. Not necessarily throwing as if they're going to come in the game right away, but just start tossing because Aldridge has been wild and a little bit ineffective here in the inning.
Well, you like seeing the runs from the Aces, but again, the Canberra were able to pour it on in the last 5 innings. That they have the advantage that they can let Aldridge go a little bit. They can let a couple more runs score. The Aces just have to pile them on quickly to really put the pressure on Keith Ward and the Cavalry.
Dale scores and the bags are still juiced for Glendenning, who had the first 2 hits of the night for the Aces, and they came 8 innings apart. Single off the right field wall in the first, a double to the right center gap in the 8th. He's 2 for 4. Next pitch, breaking ball misses in, 1-1.
Another one might have benefited from leaning into, but obviously you can't do that.
That's one of those we got ice. Let it hit you. Glendenning looking for a 3-hit night. That's another breaking ball that's outside. Aldridge just can't find the strike zone. Well, Glendenning this season now has 4 multi-hit games. 2 2-hit games, 2 3-hit games. See if he can turn one of those 2-hit games into another 3-hit game here. way outside, and luckily for the Cavalry, that one skips right back to the catcher Perkins. Nowhere for O'Neill to go at third.
Yeah, that was like a backyard bounce back. Bounced right back to Robbie Perkins.
Looked like he just overthrew that. Yeah, as simple as that. Just trying to do too much. So 3-1. Ace is a couple runs away from making the Cavalry sweat a little bit. You know, it's still a 7-run game, but things could change with one swing.
And Robbie wanted it to be that one. He saw his pitch, a fastball just on the outside corner. A little bit late to it. Made that a foul ball.
Great crowd from the start of the night, and they've stayed. Everybody hanging around to see if the Aces can mount a pretty historic comeback. That's ball 4. Ball gets away from Perkins, but it won't matter. A run comes in to score anyway. Back-to-back bases loaded walks, and the last 3 batters have brought home runs. Whitefield an RBI single, Burke and Glendinning now with bases loaded walks.
And a walk's as good as a hit, especially with the bases loaded. And what you really like to see is no action. Maybe I spoke too soon. It didn't look like Ward was going to go to the pen, but that is going to be the hook for Dean Aldridge. Just 1 out.
Well, he's responsible for all 3 runners on base right now, so his line is far from closed, but his night is done. He works just a third of an inning. We will take a break and let you know who the new pitcher is when we come back. It's a punt 1-2-3 pitching change. We'll step aside and come back in a little less than a minute here on Aces TV.
When enjoying a punt, easy does it with Punt 123. Punt123.bet is your home for all your punting needs with same race multis and same game multi options, including daily promotions on all the major sporting and racing events. It's punting made easy. Get in the game with Punt 123. Visit punt123.bet or download the app today. Gamble responsibly. If gambling becomes an issue for you, call 1-800-858-858.
Order your favourite meals from Light and Easy's new spring menu and enjoy amazing food, more free time and a healthier life. No shopping or cooking and no contracts or subscriptions. Just your choice of affordable, delicious meals delivered to your door. Order today.
We are back here on the broadcast. Aussie Mike and Josh Sperber bringing you the action on Aces TV. The Aces are making it interesting here in the bottom of the 9th. They trailed 9-0 entering the bottom half of the inning. But Dean Aldridge, looking to get the final 3 outs for the Cavalry, was ineffective. He got just 1 out. And in the 9th inning so far, the Aces got a leadoff infield single from Jacob Robson. Jared Dale followed with a single to left. Matt O'Neill walked, and with the bases loaded, Nick Bertucci struck out swinging. Pinch hitting for George Khalil. But then Whitefield singled home a run on a hit to left. Chris Burke walked with the bases loaded to force in the second run. And Robbie Glendinning followed suit the same way with a bases loaded walk. And that was it for Dean Aldridge. The new pitcher on this punt 1-2-3 pitching change is right-hander Billy Parsons.
3 hits, 3 walks for Aldridge, and still the bases loaded. He can have up to 6 earned runs on his ledger if Jake Skoll and the Aces can make something happen. But you got the momentum shifting a little bit. Still a long way to go, but Jake Skoll is certainly the guy who can change things with one swing of the bat.
Parsons, the 5th pitcher of the night for the Cavalry. He's 1-0 with a 10.38 ERA in 2 games this year. 5 earned runs in 4 1/3 innings of work, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks. Given up 7 hits in those 4 1/3. Whitefield at third, Burke at second, Glendinning at first. First pitch to Skoll misses outside. Billy Parsons, that sounds like the name of a TV character in a 1980s sitcom. You know what I mean? Like Full House, that 70s show, something like that. They're, you know, like one of the kids on Full House, their friend Billy Parsons from down the street. That's what it sounds.
I could easily see that.
Make it 2-0 on Skoll.
Keep walking, guys.
Or like the Brady Bunch or, you know, one of those shows back in the day.
I feel like there definitely was a Billy Parsons on some show, though. Like, you're absolutely right.
Sounds like a TV sitcom name. 2-1 now on Skull as he takes a strike. Not making fun of his name in any way. I'm just saying, like, when I heard that name, I'm like, that sounds like a TV character. Looking to do some damage. Skull hitless in this one. He did walk back in the 6th. He's 0 for 3. Counts 2-2. Darryl George on deck. Skull's the 8th man to hit in the inning. Love to see a grand slam right here.
That would be nice.
Or even a bases clearing double, something to the gap. Here's the 2-2. Skull fights it off. The count stays where it is.
And I like that swing. Skull saw that pitch break a little bit late towards the strike zone, just kind of slapped it out of the way. And the way he put his bat on that, he knew that ball was either going to be foul or it was going to get down that left field line where there is no one. Tillman Pugh is shaded towards left center field, and the foul lines are open for Skull.
2-2 again. Skull flicks one in the air down the left field line. Long run for Tillman Pugh. He loses his hat. And that one is on top of the batting cage down there.
And Skull's getting underneath this. He wants that grand slam.
See if he can do what Robson did a few rounds ago and hit that scoreboard out there. Maybe he can hit his picture out there.
We've seen him hit the ball pretty darn hard.
He's got the strength.
Oh, I still can't believe I saw him hit the ball over the batter's eye in batting practice.
Yeah. Just such raw power. Another 2-2 is headed Skull's way. Here it is, and another foul ball.
I really like his approach in the last 2 at-bats. He's fouled 5 pitches off with 2 strikes in each of his last 2 at-bats. A full count in the 8th inning, a 2-2 count here. Skull is absolutely battling to try and keep this game alive.
Modest lead for all 3 runners. Canberra defense back with a 6-run lead. And Skull goes down swinging. Chased the pitch out of the zone, but he's out number 2.
That's a tough one.
So it's up to Darryl George now with 2 down.
Just a really tough end of that at bat for Jake Skull. As we'll see here, that pitch pretty well below the zone. He thought he was going to see it break up, but he wanted that. You could just tell he wanted to be the difference maker, and now it's going to have to be George.
Parsons retires the first batter he faced. Took a while, but he got him. And now George sends one to deep right center, but it'll hang up there and fall in the glove of Cole Roederer. So Parsons comes in and gets the job done. After Aldridge gave up 3 runs to start the 9th, Parsons finishes it off. And George flies out to end the threat. So the Aces leave him loaded here in the 9th. They get 3 runs, but they fall by 6. And the Cavalry win a 2nd straight.
Again, you like the resiliency of the Aces. You like the fact that they were beaten coming into the 9th inning. There was a very slim chance that they were going to come back, and they still fought. They still played like it was nothing in the game that just started. Just too little, too late for Melbourne in this one.
Fireworks show here at the ballpark. Unfortunately, the Aces weren't able to put up a W before the fireworks, but they'll have another chance to do it tomorrow, Josh, as the Aces will go back at 7 p.m. New Year's Eve at the ballpark before a 1 p.m. New Year's Day series finale on Sunday. But look, we're going to get a chance to call baseball on New Year's Eve tomorrow, maybe some New Year's vibes. You can't spell New Year's without a W. See if the Aces can put the W in New Year's.
Yeah, there's no L's in New Year's either.
No.
So
I had to think for a second, but no, there's not.
We're certainly hoping the Aces can turn things around. And 4 runs in the 9th inning in the last 3 games is promising. Just they need to start those rallies earlier. If you had a nice rally like they had in this 9th inning earlier on in the game, something like that spurs just more hitting. It keeps the vibes in the dugouts up. It keeps the bats alive earlier on the game, and that's just something that Melbourne did not have. Robbie Glendinning started things off in the first, but then Belzer shut them down. And after that, the Aces really couldn't get anything going until that wild ninth inning from Dean Aldridge. So that's just something that they need to do tomorrow. They need to start hitting earlier and get those bats active, because as we saw tonight, they have players who can get things done. They have a lot of talent in this lineup. It just has to start earlier.
We know what this team's capable of. I mean, just talent up and down the roster. Pitching staff, the guys that they're able to throw in the batting order 1 through 9 every night. I mean, there's so much talent on this team. Just waiting for this team to break out. But the Aces have now lost 5 in a row. They lost the final 3 at Geelong, Korea in round 6 before the break, and they've dropped the first 2 at home here against the Cavalry. We'll see if the Aces can snap the losing streak tomorrow and start a winning streak of their own. But it's all Cavalry here tonight. Get you the final totals. 9 runs on 11 hits, no errors for Canberra. 3 runs on 5 hits, 2 errors for Melbourne. Nick Belzer gets the win. He moves to 2-2 on the year. Brian Flynn the loss. He is now 0-2. Game was played in 3 hours and 2 minutes in front of 1,501 fans at Melbourne Ballpark. Josh, it was a pretty impressive crowd, the largest crowd of the season here at Melbourne Ballpark. Great to see people showing out for the Aces.
Yeah, and they stayed till the end. You love to see the loyalty of these Aces fans. We love the Aces fans, and we hope to see a lot more of you tomorrow on New Year's Eve.
Baseball on New Year's Eve in the summer. Never thought I'd be saying that sentence, but we're doing it here in Australia. I love it. So Josh and I will be back on air tomorrow. Ed Wyatt's going to join us as well. Big shout-out to our production crew here at Sportscast Australia. For Ed and Josh, my name's Aussie Mike. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. We'll go on air a little bit before 7 p.m. here on Aces TV.